Day 2, 4 teams have become 2. The Nottingham Panthers and the Cardiff Devils. Cory Nilsson beat Gerard Adams. 2 teams full of potential match winners. 2 sets of fantastic fans. However, there could only be one winner. The final is without doubt the biggest occasion in the Elite Ice Hockey League calendar. But despite the pressure and the nerves associated with such events, both player coaches sat down with Dave Sims on the morning of the final to talk through what lay ahead.
So Cory, playoff Sunday, the emotion of Saturday out of the way. Your thoughts this morning?
Well, I'm thankful to get up out of my bed this morning. It was a physical hockey game last night. Sheffield played really hard. I thought both teams went after it. The atmosphere was amazing, and luckily we came out on top.
It was like a double emotion, wasn't it? The emotion of the playoffs, but also the emotional of Nottingham and Sheffield.
There was everything. That game combined with everything. By the end of the middle of the third period, I was starting to cramp. I was tired. I think the fans sucked all the oxygen out of the building. It was hot. And just the intensity both teams played at. There was contact everywhere. A lot of puck battles, all one-on-ones. Everyone's fighting for an inch. And Sheffield was a great team, and luckily we found a way.
Playing the second semi-final, G, did you get a chance to look at Nottingham in that first one against Sheffield?
No, not at all. Our bench coach, Neil Francis, was down, but that's what we heard about that game. It was quite physical, so we didn't get a good look at that.
Okay, talk us through your game against Belfast. You got off to the best possible start, didn't you? And that really set the tone for what was to follow.
Yeah, I think it is in all these games. You need to score goals, and you have to be aggressive, and we caught a fortunate break early, and we didn't look back, but it was a good hockey game. There was about a 4 or 5 minute spell in the second period where Stevie Lau really held us in, and that was the turning point for us. And we played a solid third period and got the win.
Let's turn our attentions to today. You and I sat here last year. What makes you think it's going to be different for the Cardiff Devils? Because you're perennial playoff final makers, but you're yet to go home with the prize. What makes you think it could be different today?
I think just the skill level. I think we've upped our skill from last year, and it's just the ability to put the puck in the net. Stevie's playing, as well or better than he did last year, and obviously the addition of Craig Weller on their defense has really, really solidified things for us in the back end. So I think we are one step ahead of where we were last year.
And what makes you think, Cory, that you're the guy that's going to go home with the championship? What will Nottingham do well today against Cardiff that makes you think that your captain will lift that trophy?
Well, I just think we've turned our season around. We've got a lot of momentum right now. Our goaltender's playing fantastic hockey. He's really changed our season, and we continue to score goals, and we're defending a lot better. So I think it's just the whole overall team aspect that we've built through this last month and a half.
In both of your answers, you both mentioned goaltending. Do you see that as the crucial battle today? Kowalski, Lyle, as a key?
It always is. It always is. It's that and refereeing decisions. Yeah. He'll probably attest to that. Each game, unfortunately, sometimes gets decided by some key calls. We're thankful to have Murray. At least I am thankful to have him. I think he's pretty consistent. So hopefully, we'll let the teams go out there and battle and decide it.
Well, the key battles are up front as well, and you've got some great goal scorers. Pele hasn't yet scored in this playoff finals. You'll be hoping he does that. But you can go Pelly and Mccray. You can go, Harima, who scored a great goal last night. There's a big battle up front as well.
It is, and Cory mentions defending and goaltending. That's the key thing to these games, because we do have so much firepower up front between the teams. But it is going to take not only the goaltending, maybe a call from the referee, but it's going to take a little bit of something special from a player, an individual effort that gets that puck into the back of the net.
Both player coaches, the emotion of a big night. How do you allow Strax to take over come game time? Do you allow Neil Francis to take over? Do you have to kind of concentrate more on the playing come this afternoon?
I just try and keep it as consistent as it's been all season long. I set the structure, I set the tone.
He carries out the instructions.
It's my team, and Strax is supplementary. He works hard. He does what the team needs, and he does a great job of that.
And is that the same for you?
Yeah, pretty similar. It's just all about our team is just keeping the guys loose, and we're playing our best hockey when we're having a lot of fun. And it's at this time of the year, there's not that much coaching involved. It's just getting the guys out there and keeping them focused.
Okay, 2 great semi-finals, a great final. Thanks for joining us for breakfast.
From the team hotel to the arena, and the mood was good in both dressing rooms. Cardiff had been here a year earlier and they knew what to expect. Nottingham were also in familiar surroundings in the dressing room they call home. One last game awaited them, a chance to end the season on a high. With over 7,000 people in attendance and in front of the live TV cameras, as the face-off drew closer, the pressure mounted. Talking you through the final is Dave Sims and Brent Pope, but first, the national anthems.
To everybody, it's sold out here at the NIC. Brent Pope, thanks for joining me. What a great game we have to look forward to.
Well, it's the ultimate of the Elite League season here in Nottingham, the showcase at the end of the year. And Nottingham, the home team, are in the final against Cardiff, who have not won a prize yet this year, although they've been everywhere but winning that championship so far.
The boys touched on it, didn't they, in their warm-up, but fans from all 10 Elite League teams, they've all got their favourites. Early prediction, the Devils in black, the Panthers in white.
I tell you, it's hard to predict. I think it's even at the bookies here, Dave. This one here could go any way.
We're underway, folks. Murray Hansen drops the puck, and the 2011 Elite League playoff final is underway. Everybody wants that early touch. Everybody wants to feel the puck, and it's Beauregard who gets it deep behind Stevie Lyle's goal. Lyle, who played so well yesterday in the semi-final against Belfast. Phil Hill chips forward, and that big line with the Mayor of Cardiff, Brad Voth, Finity and Hill will start for the Cardiff Devils. Weller throws one at the net. The captain of the Panthers, Myers, looks like he's got Hill. Finity on a loose one, pucks out in front. Voth couldn't just convert. Early pressure for Jeremias Adams' team, but now the Panthers will chip out eventually, but Cardiff with good puck possession. And as a player in a big final, Brent, you want to touch the puck early.
Hey, of course you do. You want to get involved physically if you can and make sure that you settle down the nerves here in a big game like this. But discipline is key. The Devils here early in this one have had some good energy and some pressure inside the Nottingham end zone.
And in fact, Nottingham can't get out of their end zone right now. They just chip it out now. And Murray Hansen will call for a whistle. 1 minute and 2 seconds gone. Your indications, the two semi-finals, very different games, huge intensity in that Nottingham game. Would that have taken anything out?
Well, I certainly think it does. I mean, anytime you play a game at that emotional level, as did the Panthers against Sheffield yesterday, a big rivalry against that local team, and to come up a little short, Sheffield was wounded from that one, but no doubt Nottingham had to expend a lot of energy to get through that semi-final.
Nikolov hits the red line. Nikolov had a very nervous start in the semi-final against the Sheffield Steelers. Took him 5 or 10 minutes, but once he got in it, played a much better role.
Sheffield Steelers came out very strong. They got that 2-0 lead, but then they were able to bounce back and get that scoreline leveled before the end of the first period. It was so important here because that game at that point could have got away from them, from Nottingham, but they settled down and then found a way to win that there off the stick of Rob Lakovich. There late in the game, as you look at Rick Strachan, who has been here before and now an opportunity here in his home city, now the assistant coach here with the Panthers.
Speaking with the two head coaches at breakfast this morning, they were both very complimentary about their assistant coaches. It's a team environment, a team sport.
Well, exactly, but both those guys are both very talented players. Cory Nilsson and Jared Adams, both defensemen, different types of players, but they will bring that energy to their lineup today.
Tyler Michelle, who brings a new word to the word rink rat, doesn't he? If Finity's not enough, we'll throw Michelle in there as well, just to get under people's skin. Cory Nilsson, the head coach of the Nottingham Panthers. To Bellamy, who had one of the all-time great shifts yesterday. I'm sure we'll talk about that. He basically turned the whole momentum of a game. But it's a chance for the Panthers out in front, and it's young Lakovic who had the winner yesterday. Captain Myers gets it back in. Bellamy helps it on its way to Lakovic. The Panthers try and cycle. They skate so well. High stick penalty coming in. Ryan's just got one in his mouth, and it's Matska who's going to head over to the penalty box.
It's an easy call for Maury Hansen on that one, as it happened right in front of him. Matska gets a stick up high, I think, on Billy Ryan, and he makes his way now, Matska, across to the penalty box. And we'll look at this Nottingham Panthers power play, which is just on par with the Cardiff Devils, as Matska has some extra words to say to Maury Hansen there. But you watch this play as Matska, just there as it leaves the left-hand side of your screen, gets his stick a little too high.
We always talk about special teams, don't we? Every commentary, every game, they are so important.
In a 60-minute competition, a one-off game, it means everything. And you want to make sure you stay out of the box as often as you possibly can. And here's a great chance for Nottingham early.
Yeah, Phil Hill there had that great shot. And Kowalski moves the puck quickly into Galbraith. Galbraith down to the left-hand side to Beauregard. Beauregard looks for Galbraith and finds him. Still with Beauregard now behind the goal. Man out in front was David Clark. Agrophobic out in front. Clark again, backdoor Beauregard. Gets a deflection high into the glass. Panthers on the ascendancy. 5 white shirts from Nottingham, 4 black from Cardiff. Nilsson, wrist shot, rebound. Beauregard, great chance. Lyle makes a save. Great effort.
Lyle's standout yesterday is again here early in this one for the Devils.
Stevie Lyle has to be just on his game. The offense the Nottingham Panthers have, and Lyle showed with just 3 minutes gone that he's up for the task. And he's won before, hasn't he, Stevie Lyle? He knows how to win these games.
Well, he did everything he could for these Devils last year against the Belfast Giants, and they lost in a shootout. Is that just going offside across the line? So Stevie Lyle knows what it takes. He's a big game player, and he here makes that huge save early in the power play.
In games between the Cardiff Devils and the Nottingham Panthers, Nottingham have had 45 power plays this season. Here's that Nilsson chance, and this is a big save.
Well, it's the redirection, the change of speed, and then you watch the puck bouncing there, and it's Beauregard who tries to tap it in. Stevie Lyle gets his left pad back to the post in time and denies Beauregard, who's a sniper himself and knows how to score.
Yeah, just going back, Nottingham, 45 power play chances against Cardiff this season, scored on 7 of those 45 chances.
It's about par for them over the season. They were just under 20% were the Nottingham Panthers on their power play opportunities, but both of them are pretty even. But here comes Myers.
Myers has got a reamer just in front of him, goes to Bellamy. Can Lepine get in on the act? He can't. And the Cardiff Devils clear 200 feet. I don't know what your thoughts are, Brent. I think Arima has picked it up in the playoffs. He's showing why he's a first-round pick.
He scores a huge goal yesterday in the semi-final, and here's Bellamy, though. He was great as well for the Panthers.
To Myers, back door. Shot, save, great chance, Arima. Bellamy, Myers on the back door. Ryan, back out to Lepine. Shoots, and he went short side, didn't he? He went out to Ryan. I don't think Ryan was expecting it, and Pelly clears.
The Panthers show a lot of poise in that power play. This is great drama and excitement, a lot of emotions going on early in this game, but they're very calm under pressure, and they're really looking for that incisive pass to get past the Devils defense and come very close there. Stevie Lyle doing his job.
Matska back on the ice. The Cardiff Devils are back to full strength. We saw 2 very early goals in both semi-finals yesterday. Sheffield scoring against Nottingham and Cardiff against Belfast. Nottingham had their chances on the early power play. Now it's the turn of the Cardiff Devils. Offside called against Bradford.
Well, often when you score the first goal, it goes heavily in your favor to win that game. Yesterday, the Panthers are able to come back after conceding the first goals. We look at Brad Voth, who's been an institution in Cardiff now for 6 years in South Wales, and he's been the captain of the club. He's certainly a big figurehead in the Elite League, and he will be a big figure today here on that right side with Ryan Finnerty for the Devils.
I don't think the referee agreed with the offside. They brought it back to centre ice. And the second first-round pick of the Nottingham Panthers, Daniel Kachuk. we haven't seen enough of him, have we? He had that injury. He made a great impression when he first came in, but then the injury kind of curtailed him a little bit.
Well, it certainly would. And you know, one of the great qualities of Tkachuk is his face-off ability to get possession of that puck when we have these restarts, these face-offs, and he will be instrumental in important situations today for the Panthers.
Puck possession game, and if you can win your face-offs, you're halfway there. Jeremias Adams, first to a loose puck, rims the puck round. And here come the Devils, and they come with speed with Ryan Finity. He gets a little tug, no penalty called, makes a nice pass, great chance. Jeremias Adams just shoots wide. Big chance for the Cardiff Devils. Adams likes to jump in the play, and he did just that.
Great play there by Finnerty to feed the defenseman coming in and just whistles it wide, and actually just kind of starts the Panthers breakup. But the Devils, with their best chances of this first period so far, just shooting wide.
Actually, it was Mark Smith, wasn't it? It wasn't Jeremias Adams, it was Mark Smith who jumped in that play. Kowalski gets caught a little bit. Lakovic takes it out of his feet, and the Panthers try and break out, but they are quickly turned over again by the... Everybody's lost the puck. Where's it gone? There it is. Michel takes a shot. Stevie Lee, Lakovic, we were all looking for the puck there, and it ended up somewhere where we never expected it.
Got wrapped up in the body there, and then Michel stepped in and got a good shot on Kowalski.
Billy Ryan in his first season with the Panthers. Can he win it, or can he end it as a double winner? Bellamy couldn't pick up on that one, and the Cardiff Devils come right to left in their black uniforms and chip down behind the goal of Kowalski, where the puck is collected by Danny Myers. 6 minutes gone, opening period. Scoreless. I woke up this morning, I never expected a shootout. I thought this would be a tight one.
Well, you talk about the scoreline over the 7 games they've played so far. There's been 5 games within 1 goal, and this will be no different here. This is big drama, big emotion, and both teams know they can ill afford to make silly mistakes today, and they'll be strong and thorough throughout.
A big thank you to Ronnie Nicol, our outstanding stats man, who he must have been up all night, because I walked into this building today and he just was drilling me with stats about this game. Does a fine job. Let's see, there's the Cardiff Devils bench, but let's just see that last Cardiff chance.
And there is Smith going wide. I think Kowalski gets a piece of it with his blocker as Smith, the right-hand shot, comes across the body in Kowalski, and Kowalski fronting up the shooter. Kowalski was very strong as well yesterday. The 2 best goaltenders out of the 2 games are in this final here today.
The Cardiff Devils in the ascendancy. Can they? The glove is off. Richardson battles in the corner. It's Richardson, Mark Richardson without the glove. He now picks it up for the Nottingham Panthers. One with speed, and it's Lapine, who won the unusual award at the end of season dinners for the Elite League as the biggest entertainer.
He's a very rugged customer on the blue line, but he's actually got great skill as well, and he'll be instrumental for Cory Nilsson's side today.
Finity tries to cut to the middle, has the puck taken off him. Myers helps it on its way. Finity and Myers. Finity thinks he's going to get called for a penalty there. Finishes on Matthew Myers. Harima. Nikolov just in front of him. Harima, Beauregard just in front of Stevie Lyle. And now Phil Hill will clear as Nilsson comes in. Nikolov skates all the way back. His first playoff final for the Panthers. To Cory Nilsson, who's 1-3 in the playoff finals. 1-1, lost 3 in his 4 visits to the Final Four.
Panthers, a lot is expected of this organization, a very successful one, or a very solid organization here in Nottingham, and they will be wanting here at home to be coming away with this playoff silverware in addition to the Challenge Cup they've already won this season.
You feel in the building there's almost an expectancy for Nottingham today.
Well, they have a huge crowd in here. Everybody who isn't a Nottingham Panthers fan, I'm assuming, is cheering for the Cardiff Devils. The Devils here, probably about half the crowd that the Nottingham Panthers have because it's here in their home rink, but the Panthers, who, well, have a huge following in the sport of ice hockey here in the UK, are incredibly well supported today.
Young Sam Smith. What a find he's been for Jeremias Adams, and moves the puck forward. Lakovic doing a similar job, and Jeremias Adams goes back behind the goal of Stevie Lyle, and Adams will wait for the line change to be completed, and his big unit's out there. But Matska, one of his big players, is being hounded by Matthew Myers, and you know what, that's why Mike Ellis picks Matthew Myers, because he's so important to their intensity and their tempo.
Well, the thing that Matt Myers does extremely well, he has a first effort. Here's Breyer in a break, though.
Matska takes a shot, rebound, Pele shoots, and Pele scores! Just as Ron Schuger always says, he finds the right area, he finds the right spaces, and 8 minutes and 51 seconds into the opening period. John Pele shoots and scores, and it's John Pele's 57th goal of the year. He's second in this year's playoffs.
Great work by the Devils, get possession, and Breyer lays it up for Mouska. Mouska just pounds it. Pele picks up the rebound and deposits it right in the back of the goal. This line has been doing it all year. Pele, forward of the year in the Elite League, and led the league in scoring, gets on the board and scores a big goal here now. He didn't score yesterday, but what a beauty here to open up the Devils' scoring account today.
You don't want to waste them in the semi-finals, Brent. Not when there's a final to play in.
The thing about the semi-finals, it's not even halfway there, because yes, it gives you the passport to the final, but this game is really the true test to see how good your team is, because the ultimate two teams that have played the best over the weekend are here. And I go back and I qualify, Dave, about Mustakovs, who won goaltender of the year. I was talking about Kowalski and Stevie Lyle. They played the best in the two semifinals yesterday, and they helped their teams get here. Absolutely. In a one-off game here now, it is that goaltending performance that can be the difference between winning a championship or not. How
important is it that it was the Cardiff Devils that scored first? If Nottingham scored first, a huge crowd behind them.
Of course, it's momentum, and this place would have erupted, and it did very well as well. This is the biggest contingent of Cardiff Devils fans they've had here since they won it in 1999 in Manchester. And the Devils have had a fantastic year, and they've got a wave of momentum behind them to score that first goal. Just releases that energy into this building.
Well, the Nottingham Panthers were 2 goals down in the semi-final against Sheffield. They came back to hit 3 straight and win that game eventually in overtime. But it's the Cardiff Devils who take the early advantage. Last year, of course, they were 2 goals down against the Belfast Giants, came back to take it into overtime to go through the heartbreak of that penalty shot loss. Ryan in the circle, Ryan and Finity. Ryan Finity, maybe. Pele, the goal scorer. Gerard Adams at breakfast said, I know Pele will score today. He will score. I guarantee you he will score, and he's right, and he scored inside 10 minutes.
Well, Shudra talked about it at the opening of the show. He's one of those guys, as Lakovic, who orchestrated the overtime winner for Nottingham yesterday, involved the offense here, but Pele knows how to score goals, and his stats suggest exactly that.
Yeah. Every time we speak about Pele, we speak about him finding the space, don't we, that all great goal scorers do. Here's Matska, his line mate, and he shoots into the glove of Kowalski, earning the Cardiff Devils a face-off in the offensive zone.
The thing about Pele is because he's only 5'7", 170 pounds, as we look at Kowalski, and now the Devils bench, it's Neil Francis there looking on at his team. We watch this angle, this goal again, as Breyer and Matska, who's second in the league in scoring this year, and Pele number 1. That combination has been the strongest line throughout the Elite League all year, and they've been right at the top of the scoring as Pele. Right there, he's from Long Island, New York. He scores a big goal, big time.
Phil Hill takes the shot, rebounds out. It was Pele, in fact, who was the newcomer of the year at the Elite League Awards dinner on Friday evening. In fact, it was the Cardiff Devils who picked up so many awards there. Weller, the best defenseman and player of the year. Stevie Lawler cover-up as David Clark skates past. Yes, and when you've got Weller, the best defenseman, you've got Pelly, the best forward, you're halfway there.
Well, it's been a long time since the Devils have had those types of players, that level, that pedigree and quality. They've had a lot of good players, but potentially Pele and Weller are great. And Weller is potentially, and arguably, I certainly think he's one of the best players ever play in the UK, and arguably the best, because we saw Craig Weller, of NHL experience, play at the prime of his career, and he gave a real good, solid season this year in the Elite League.
Some great rosters in the Elite League this year, some great resumes, a lot of American League games, a lot of NHL games. I can't remember the last time there were so many American League games in our league.
Well, the thing that Craig Weller said about that, he said he had a great amount of respect for all the talent in Britain here that is playing ice hockey at the Elite League level, and he hadn't known about that until he arrived, and he had his eyes opened to just how well the game is being played and at the level it's being played in British ice hockey.
Well, you take a look at that Belfast Giants defence, the Sheffield Steelers defence. They've both got 4 import defensemen, 8 American League defensemen there.
And you know, Richard Seeley, you look at him in the Belfast, I mean, he'd been there for 7-8 years in the American League, a captain at that level. Craig Weller as well, a lot of American Hockey League experience in addition to just under 100 games in the National Hockey League. And you're right, it raises the whole standard of play and the quality of talent and quality of performance here in the Elite League this season.
What he basically tells you is the Elite League is one hell of a product, and the quality is only getting better. And young Mark Richardson, who sets a play up there, helps that. Mark Richardson, of course, the Cardiff Devils defenseman, and the British players have grown, haven't they, with those better imports?
Well, looking at Kowalski, he's been a great import as well for the Panthers, but you're right. I was just about to say that probably the balance between British players and imports has been about as close as it's been as far as the real talent rising to the top, and both the homegrown talent and the imported players have contributed.
Well, it's a Pele. Pele takes a shot. It was deflected. Kowalski doesn't like it. He's seen something he doesn't like, but right out in front. That deflection beats Kowalski. The Cardiff Devils lead by 2-0. Breyer's gone down. Pelly took the shot. Maybe the replay came up for Breyer.
I think there was trouble in front as Breyer was being a screen for Pele's shot. And you watch as Craig Weller lays it out to Pele. He just shoots the puck and good things happen. And redirected as Kowalski. You see him responding to being in front. And he thinks it's a high stick potentially off of Breyer's stick. I think it goes off Cory Nilsson's stick as you watch the replay here. And Nilsson actually goes off his glove and past Kowalski. And Kowalski's bemused there in the Nottingham Panthers goal. Bottom line is, though, it crossed the goal line, and it's going to count. And I think Pele will probably get credit for his second goal of the game.
58th goal of the season. 58. That's just greedy. John Pelly comes to the party at just the right time. Ryan takes the shot. Lyle makes the save. Thought he'd lost it for a second, but he hasn't. And for the second time in 2 days, the Panthers have got to come from 2 goals down.
They were down early in the first 6-7 minutes of the game yesterday against Sheffield, and now this is a different product, though. This is a different team we're taking on here. The Devils are probably peaking at just the right time as we look at Kowalski, who's now been beaten twice. He was the difference yesterday on a penalty shot against Ben Simon, too, but watch this play again. As Pele shoots, it's always a good thing to take a shot. Doesn't matter where you are. You see Kowalski already responding to referee Maury Hansen, and then Breyer getting dumped in front. But I think that Kowalski thought it was the puck made contact with the stick above the shoulder of Breyer, but actually I think it went inadvertently off of his own player coach, Cory Nilsson, in his glove, trying to get out of the way.
2-0. The Cardiff Devils lead in the first period against the Nottingham Panthers. Lakovic, can he be the hero second night? Lee takes a shot, kicked away by Stevie Lyle. Ryan just out in front, Finity. Hearing that goal was given to Weller, Craig Weller. I don't know where he came into play there.
He made the play to Pele, and then going to the net, we look at the contact. It was a little bit of a strange play, but we'll have a little look at that again.
I think that'll be a Murray Hansen change as the period goes on. Myers, David Clark gets caught, and Mccray just chips it in. Cory Nilsson off the half board. Now to Galbraith. We haven't even mentioned Jay Galbraith's name. 7:22 to go in the first period, and Galbraith gets a mention. Nilsson moves the puck quickly. Galbraith tries to get it in deep, and he can't, and Jay Galbraith can't get into the game right now.
Well, Galbraith, who's been right at the top of scoring all year as well in the Elite League, and he's the top scorer for the Nottingham Panthers. Remember, he scored that incredible goal against the Boston Bruins in Belfast early on in the season, but he's an integral part. He finished with the most assists in the Elite League this year. He needs to get kick-started for this Nottingham offense. Mccray,
what a find he's been. Breyer, back into Mccray. Can they make it 3? Third chance, Pele! Holy smoke, folks. Now Galbraith offensively comes, leads the charge. Clark drives the net. Can't do so. This is a battle now. The big hits are being thrown. Kachuk's just thrown a monster. Pelly to Breyer, back to Pelly, back to Breyer. Hits the crossbar. You've got to be kidding me. Just under 7 remaining, and the Cardiff Devils smell blood, and they are trying to turn the screw.
This line of Pele, Matska, and Breyer are electric right now, and if they're not careful, it could be lights out in a moment for the Nottingham Panthers the way they're playing at the moment.
Harima can't get anything. Big slash comes in from Kachuk when Weller is big and strong and chips it all the way down. Icing will be called. No, it won't. No, it isn't. It's called so loud in here. Let me take you back, Brent, if I can, to yesterday. The Nottingham Panthers went 2 down. We'll just see this first, this great shot.
Breyer goes right up high over the glove hand of Kowalski and off the crossbar. And this is the play. He tries to go across in front, and it's a chance for Stuart Mccray coming in, and Pele, and Kowalski with a great paddle save swipes it away from Pele, trying to get his 3rd goal potentially in this game so far.
And let's see the goal again. That was the one we were just talking about. I don't see well with that, Ian.
And I think it does potentially go off Corey Nilsson, the player coach of the Nottingham Panthers, and that was the confusion because I think Breyer was reaching for it and it looked like it was going to be a high stick, but Pele, who will get credit for it, is now the man, the author of the 2 goals of the Devils so far. And there is Corey Nilsson looking on, and you can only sort of wonder whether or not it's going to be your day when that sort of misfortune happens.
The momentum is with the Cardiff Devils right now. It was with the Sheffield Steelers yesterday, and Bellamy, as we see a great chance for Kachuk, and Lyle again shuts the door. Bellamy had one of those shifts, didn't he? He had 4 kills, Mudd, then he had Glokey, then he had Phillips, then he had Mudd. And that's really what the Panthers need. They need somebody to grab it right now, don't they?
They certainly do, as we watch this replay again, and it's Harimo who gets a shot in, and then it's the Chuck following it up there to Chuck with a good face-off man, gets this opportunity off the face-off, and Stevie Lyle is closing the door at the moment for the Devils, but you're right, Bellamy was a kickstart in the offense, and there you go!
Redirect, and they've got it, it's Beauregard now, it's in front. Danny Myers drilled into the net. Beauregard in front of Stevie Lyle. The Nottingham Panthers are back in it. Holy smoke, what a playoff final we have at the NIC. It's David Beauregard again.
A whole different game now as a result of that goal from the Nottingham Panthers, and Beauregard right in front. We talk about the chuck and the draw. He wins that one. Myers gets a shot through, and Beauregard, I think, is the one who redirects it in front. You watch Myers. The puck is kind of bobbling. It's a little bit of a change-up, and Beauregard, standing there in a tripod position, has the puck redirected through his legs and through the legs of Stevie Lyle in the Devils' goal. And Lyle beaten cleanly on that one, and good traffic in front, and Beauregard gets rewarded.
David Beauregard leads playoff scoring, his 4th playoff goal of this 2011 Elite League campaign, his 33rd goal of the season. A brace from Pelly when Beauregard comes back. The Panthers came back with 3 straight on Saturday. They've got the first of 3 maybe here on Sunday in the final. Makes it better for us, doesn't it?
Yeah, of course it does. And, you know, it's that kind of final we all want to see. The game yesterday, maybe the first semi between Nottingham and Sheffield, was seen as having a little bit more emotion in it because the Devils were strong. They really kind of took it to Belfast and won that game 4-1 and won it comfortably. This game, though, all of a sudden is just taking on a new complexion. It's what we want to see, though, Dave. We want to see great hockey, and we've got ourselves a real game now.
And a minute ago, it was a 1-team game, and now it's all back almost. Well, you couldn't put a piece of paper between them now, can you?
Well, the next goal is key, isn't it? And if the Devils were able to bounce back and get a 3rd one, well, you got to feel they're going to be taking the hand. But Matt Myers can be a game breaker for the Panthers as he takes on Adams.
And Jared Adams, a grumpy old man, he's not going to let Matthew Myers past him in a playoff final, and he doesn't. Breyer brings the puck, comes with speed, takes the shot glove, rebound, back out to Galbraith. Galbraith hasn't got a lot of options, but he'll hold, he'll protect the puck, and he takes it into the offensive zone. And then he gives it away, and here's Pele. And Pele's trying to find Phil Hill, and Hill has it. And it's Hill versus Levers, and Levers found himself going backwards, not used to that situation, last man back. And now the Nottingham Panthers will try and break with Corey Nilsson. And Nilsson, is he going to give an icing up? I think he is. And Smith touches the puck and will come all the way back down in front of Kowalski's goal. So important, such a pivotal person for the Nottingham Panthers is their coach, Corey Nilsson.
Of course he is. He's their leading scoring defenseman. As we watch Nilsson going off the ice, he scored the most points of any of the defensemen in the league. Craig Weller gets the award. He comes in a little bit late this year, but Corey Nilsson, so integral as an offensive producing defenseman. And you saw him a few moments ago on the bench looking a little bit resigned after being down 2-0. He, more than anybody, breathing a sigh of relief when he sees David Beauregard be able to beat Stevie Lyle in the Cardiff Devils goal to make this a 2-1 game.
Must have been huge relief. You've been on those benches, Brent. Huge relief when that one goes in.
Well, the thing about these games is they can go any way quickly. Unless you get things right early, you'll be behind the 8 ball before you know it.
Phil Hill, who's the man in front. It's Brad Voth. Kowalski takes him down. Penalty coming in. And the penalty is going to be against Kowalski. Is it a tripping minor against Kowalski? I think it is.
It could very well be as you watch, and I think it is Kowalski who they're indicating. Maury Hansen's indicating the crease. And Brad Voth, as we watch Hill trying to make that play, Voth does well, and Kowalski just giving a little extra stick. And really, I think Kowalski probably getting a little bit hard done by that call, in fairness, because Voth goes to the net with that big size and body, wanting to distract Kowalski, and Kowalski comes out really on the short of the stick, and often Brad Voth will be the man penalized on those plays.
Well, Kowalski's a tripping minor. Craig Kowalski gets the penalty, though it's Jade Galbraith that will serve it. So a late power play. We talk about momentum, scoring at the start of a period. The end of a period is a big opportunity for the Cardiff Devils. Pelly sinks it down low to Matska, back to Pele. Pelly's got Weller to his right. Still with Pele. Back to Matska. Man out in front is Breyer, can't get to him. Richardson does well, Mark Richardson. They all jump for it and jump Pelly. Pelly's only about 4'2". I don't think he's going to win too many jumping battles, is he?
If he was a guy at the centerman in the base or the basketball circle, he never would. But he always has the effort, wants to get that puck. He's got the 2 goals now. He's looking for that 3rd one.
Weller moves the puck quickly to Pele, who goes rink wide, goes to Mccray. Back to Pelly. 1:15 left on the power play. Pelly out in front is Breyer. They bang one off the side of the netting off the post. Here's Tyler Michel, redirect it right through the crease in front of Kowalski. Down below us, Mark Smith moves the puck well to Michel again. No, sorry, to Mccray, now to Michel. Man out in front is Breyer. Michel takes a shot, Kowalski sees it, Kowalski saves it.
You can see in his power play what Jared Adams was saying at the top of the show about this team, this Cardiff Devils team, being a little bit stronger this year offensively than maybe they were last year. Tyler Michel has had a standout season, not only as an energy player, but as a goal scorer as well. He orchestrates the power play. As Rick Strachan looking on, the assistant coach with the Panthers, and they no doubt know how important his penalty kill is.
Huge kill for the Nottingham Panthers. Whistle quickly blows. You just talk about that momentum that a 3-1 lead going in at the end of a period would give Cardiff.
Well, Cardiff will. If they take that 3-1 lead, I think they will be on their way. It certainly isn't by any means done, but a big goal here is a massive blow for the Panthers.
Smith with a one-timer, and Vop just couldn't get in front quick enough to cause some traffic in front. He was held up well by Danny Myers. Smith gets the puck away quickly, doesn't he?
He's just a no-nonsense player, as Mark Smith, and he was the unsung hero for the Cardiff Devils this year. He blocks more shots than anybody I've ever seen play the game here in the UK. He gets in the way, he gets a good shot off there. He was injured, he was concussed up until the last few weeks of the season. He's an important part of this Devils defensive puzzle.
I was speaking to Paul Sullivan at breakfast time. He told me that Mark Smith blocked 7 shots yesterday.
Well, he's unbelievable. You know, he doesn't even talk about it. He just sort of does it as part of his duty and his job, and he has been Mr. Reliable for the Devils on the blue line. He
had a better saves percentage than half the goalies here yesterday. Finity goes behind the goal of Kowalski. Myers kind of mirrors him for a little bit. Back to Finity. Shot comes through. Again, it was Mccray. Back to Finity. Everybody wants the puck on this Cardiff Devils team. Mccray throws one, and there's a man right in front. A man in front. There's a mountain in front, Brad Voth. Smith again just gets in the way.
Well, good control here from the Devils, but this penalty kill, very important. Matt Myers and Rob Lakovich doing a great job. 2 British forwards for the Panthers. Here comes Michel.
Michel with speed, blue line, fakes a shot, takes a shot, rebound. Lee gets there first. Ryan will come. Galbraith is out of the penalty box from serving the Kowalski penalty. Back 5-on-5 as we are in the final 2 minutes of this first period. A playoff final period that sees the Cardiff Devils over the Panthers 2-1.
We watched Craig Weller battling against Billy Ryan. We haven't really seen much of Craig Weller yet. It's been mostly the offense of the Devils so far in this period. But as this game go on, Craig Weller will be instrumental for these Devils.
Well, Breyer, if he could have just had control of the puck there, Pelly was free just at Breyer's right. And the Nottingham Panthers take a change, and they just caught a little off guard. Ryan did a good job coming back on Breyer. Now the Panthers clear, but the Cardiff Devils get it right back in there. Stevie Lee, who as Chris Ellis pointed out in his analysis, unbelievable play he made yesterday on Ashley Tate. Isn't it good when we can talk about the British players making such key plays?
On a 2-on-1 late in the game, Sheffield Steelers. Here's to Chuck, though, late in this period.
Bellamy at the far side. Can Bellamy get there? Oh, it came off Phil Hill's shins and just went past the post stick side of Stevie Lyle. Finity has got Voth one side, offside is called.
It's a great play coming across there, and Bellamy, who was the energy player yesterday for the Panthers, and I think helped turn that game around for them to get past the Sheffield Steelers, especially as they went down the 2-0. We watched it, Chuck, though, make this play. The puck is rolling. He just passes out front, and Bellamy is the first one to arrive, and Phil Hill, who really needed to mark him, was a moment late, and he almost pays the price as the shot goes off Stevie Lyle, almost off his shin pads it in. And there we are, the Panthers bench. Boy, they'd love to have scored a late one here in this first period and level it.
Well, again, it's that M word again, momentum, isn't it? He just takes everything out of the Devils' sails.
Certainly does. And the Devils, who had it all caught up their own way there with Pele, those 2 goals, a little bit of good fortune on the second goal, have really been second best over the last 5-7 minutes of this first period.
This Nottingham team, I just think is probably a better playoff team in having people like Bellamy, Arima, Kachuk, you know, those big moment players that they perhaps have had for 54 games.
Well, it's true. I think in a one-off game, you talk about this Nottingham Panthers team. They're actually very well built. They're balanced. You look at Nikolov as well on the blue line. He just makes good plays and compliments Danny Myers and Corey Nilsson. And the arrival of Stephen Lee as a top-flight player, making those big moment plays that he did yesterday against Ashley Tate late in that hockey game. They've got a very solid core here, the Nottingham Panthers, but they've got a lot of firepower up front.
I know Anna told us in a preview at the start that Rick Strachan had said no injury problems, but Van Hoof never had a shift yesterday. He hasn't had a shift today, and that shows that, you know, Myers and Lee and Nikolov, Corey Nilsson rates them above him.
Well, he's an imported player as Van Hoof, and the Nottingham Panthers have been able to replace players when they've been injured, but here they are. Their British players are a huge part of their success.
Strax wouldn't lie to us, would he, Brent?
No, of course he wouldn't.
5 seconds. Here goes Myers, Matthew to Danny, and the Panthers captain fires one just stick side. The period ends. What a period here at the NIC. 2-goal advantage for the Cardiff Devils, and it looked Cardiff's for the taking.
Well, I would say at the end of that first period, Nottingham are playing a little bit better and have some momentum going in that second break. The Devils need to probably regroup to get themselves moving forward again, but a great first period of action.
How big a goal, Danny, was that from David Alexander Beauregard?
Oh, it was massive. To be honest with you, a couple of minutes before, I was just thinking, let's just get through this period at 2-0 down. They had a great chance. Breyer hit the bar, and at one stage we were really running around. I thought the first 5 minutes we started okay. Our power play was excellent. I think Cardiff took over after that, so very happy to get that goal back.
What is it? It was similar to yesterday, wasn't it, with that slow start?
Yeah, I mean, similar yesterday because I thought they were both pretty cheesy goals. I mean, the first one was a rebound where we weren't picking up our man. The second goal, Weller's one, you know, seemed to take a couple of deflections and go in, and a couple of cheesy goals. But this team's been through a lot this year, and we'll continue to battle back as long as there's something left for us. We'll continue to fight for it.
But no panic, even at 2-0, no one panicked on the bench?
No chance, as I say. We've been through so much this year. We've been battered and bruised by every single person in this country. You know, everyone's taken the mickey out of us all season long. We could take anything that's thrown at us now, and you know, we're going to have to take a very, very good Cardiff Devils team on now.
Gerard, 2-1 up in the first period, an ideal start for you guys.
Yeah, I got off to the perfect start. It's good to see John Pele get an early goal. Usually when he scores, we win, so it's nice to see him score.
Now, Pelly, he's been a key player all season, and of course tonight.
Yeah, I think he's been, you know, the best player in the league, and games like this, you need some special individual talents, and need a little bit more from him.
Now, of course, Nottingham, then they scored towards the end of the first period. Have you got what it takes to come back in the second and really dominate it?
I think so. I mean, we're approaching the game just to kind of win every period. We won the first period. Nottingham's pretty high scoring, so we definitely need to get a couple more goals.
What are you going to be saying to the guys in the change room during this first period?
Just kind of a little bit of encouragement, keep going, and our backside forward needs to play a little bit more defensive in his responsibilities. So we pick that up, we'll be just fine.
Great, thanks, Gerard.
Thank you.
Well, I'm joined by GB coach Paul Thompson. Now, Paul, before any of the goals were scored, Nottingham had their first chance with their power play, and they usually shine at this opportunity. Talk me through.
Okay, as you can see, on most of the power plays that we have, Corey Nilsson always plays the top. He's one of the best in the country at doing that, and he drags the puck to the top, and he gets pucks through to the net all the time. And the guys like Beauregard and guys like David Clark, if they're 4 or 5 feet out from the net, they're going to score some goals. If we just pause it just here, just stop it right there, right you go. So Corey Nilsson comes from the right to the left, and he's always in a shooting position. Okay. And you can see these two guys at the net, and Cardiff getting puck watching a little bit right now, and it's a 2-on-1 at the net. And Nilsson's job is not specifically to shoot to score, but is to get the puck through. And he gets the puck through. If we can carry on, roll the VT here, we get the puck through, and look, Beauregard, who's the best sniffer in the league from that area, and if he gets that chance, this is a great view from a player's perspective. And that's one thing Cardiff don't want to do. They don't want to give away mindless penalties for a team like this. Right, if we just pause this a little bit, this is the first goal, Anna.
The first goal by Pele. By
John Pele, and he scored 50 goals this year. Yeah. And you can see the big man Lepine, the big defenseman from the Nottingham Panthers, he's stepping up to make a big open ice hit. But the problem is, if you don't make your check, you don't make your hit, an odd man rush comes the other way. Galbraith, who you can see in the picture here, He's the third guy, but he has to make this a 2-on-2. So if we roll the VT again, we can see he comes down, Pelly's out of picture, rebound. He scores 50 goals because he finds them pockets. If Lepine contains there, that's a 3-on-3. This ends up a 3-on-2 because there's the odd man rushing. You can't give him them opportunities.
Now, of course, the offensive face-off, that's a key part of the pro game. Talk me through that.
Well, yeah, if we just hold it just here, this is an offensive 5-on-5 face-off play. Everybody in the league has their own offensive face-off plays, I should say. And you can see here, they win the puck back to the strong side point. Pelly comes from the middle and he comes button hooks back into this area there. We roll the VT again. The D-man walks down the wall, he pumps it back. We got net presence, he takes that shot, and I think it ends up coming off Nilsson. So that'll be a set play, a set face-off play that they use, and shot to the net. If you put the puck to the net and you have traffic going to the net, that's what happens for you.
Second period about ready to start. Murray were ready, and he drops the puck on cue. And here is Big Weller, who goes down the left-hand side. Captain of the Panthers, Danny Myers, wears 19. And he just got out-muscled a bit by Weller there. And Weller got the puck through the crease. Richardson, young Mark Richardson, one of those British players making their way to Kiev in a couple of weeks' time. Finity on a drop pass to Mark Richardson. Voth will hit the red line and chip in. Hill, and here is a chance for Phil Hill. He sees it one time and coming in and scores! Ryan Finity on cue. We talk about the man. He jumps into the Cardiff Devils bench. Ryan Finity shoots and scores. The Cardiff Devils lead by 3-1.
This play from the Cardiff Devils could be a backbreaker here within the first 32 seconds of the second period. Phil Hill just lays it on a plate for Finnerty to step in, and he drives it, much like he did yesterday in the semi-final against the Belfast Giants. He comes in and hammers it hard and low, and you see how much it means to him as he celebrates. Phil Hill, the puck is rolling. He takes a chance. Finnerty takes a chance at catching it while it's still moving. And this is a huge goal for the Nottingham Panthers to let up here in this first 30 seconds of the second period.
What a start. We talked about early goals in the first period of both semi-finals yesterday. Well, the Cardiff Devils have come back and have just hammer blow to the Nottingham Panthers. Talk about momentum, they might even get another here.
You talk about that third goal, it was so massive whether or not the Panthers were going to be able to level at 2 or the Devils to get that 2-goal advantage again. That goal will help to settle down these Cardiff Devils, and we'll see what they're all about now.
Lakovic gets the puck, 27th Bellamy, and Smith just clears as the Nottingham Panthers go on a line change. Don't you just love it as a commentator when a player performs just on cue?
Well, it was an incredible play. Here's an easy
Chance
one
out
for
front.
Nottingham.
Goal! A simple goal. What were the Cardiff Devils defenseman doing there? It's Myers, it's Clark, but it's Matthew Myers, the scorer. The Cardiff Devils went to sleep, and a 2-0 in front of Stevie Lyle. What was going on?
Unbelievable chance here. It's like we know what we're talking about. There's the man, Matt Myers, who is a game breaker and can be the difference tonight. He's Cardiff born and bred when he plays for the Nottingham Panthers, and it's Jared Adams who just leaves a little bit of a miscued puck behind the goal, and Galbraith lays it out to Matt Myers with the backhand, just slots it right through Stevie Lyle. And again, we talk about that playing style. Stevie Lyle, he wants to stay up and take the shot, and Matt Myers doesn't waste any time. He gets the shot off in a hurry, and what a bounce back goal for the Panthers.
Well, at 2-0, you thought the Cardiff Devils had the upper hand, but this Nottingham Panthers team doesn't know when it's beaten. They've shown that in the Challenge Cup. They've shown it at the back end of the league season, and they've certainly shown it in the playoffs.
It's the heavyweight bout here, back and forth. These guys are giving each other some serious body blows, and just when you think the damage is being done against the Panthers, they bounce back on the rope-a-dope, and they give these Devils another round.
3-2. What do we know? We said it was going to be a low-scoring game, and it's 5 goals, and we're only 22 minutes in. Off the boards, just down by the Nottingham Panthers bench, whistle blows, a break in play. 2 goals inside the first minute and a half of the second period. Finity for 3-1, Matthew Myers for 3-2. Strax looks a little happier now, doesn't he?
Well, you can see it in his eyes. You and I both know him well, and that is a much more pleased and relaxed Rick Strack after conceding that third goal. Now that bounce back goal just shows the Nottingham Panthers fans and players they're right in here and they can score when they need to as well.
Harima just can't touch that one. Lepine, the puck bounces over his stick. Nilsson goes to get it. Cory Nilsson tries to make that inch-perfect pass, gives away an icing, does he? Yes, he does, as well. A touch is up, and we go all the way back in front of Craig Kowalski.
What a difference, though, that Finnerty play. You know, we look at Cory Nilsson. That is a real chance pass that Phil Hill makes across to score that goal. Same thing with Matt Myers, though. He doesn't waste any time. He gets that shot off quickly. And both teams really are showing a little bit of vulnerability, but also willing to take that chance to try and score these goals. Like we said, with more goals than maybe we expected so far in this hockey game. And they're trading them back and forth here, and I wouldn't want to call the winner here.
Finity face-off win back to Phil Hill. Hill takes a shot, blocker save made by Kowalski. Finity goes behind the net of Kowalski's goal. Voth was just in front, still with Hill. This Hill again. Finity almost found him. Good work from Nilsson, but he gets out muscled. Now Beauregard just chips out. The Cardiff Devils, perennial bridesmaids. Welcome to the 8th Elite League finals. They've been in the finals on all 8 times, but they're yet to win the championship. They were in last year's final. When does that start to become an issue to some of them, that when Nottingham keep pegging them back?
Well, when that second goal goes in by Matt Myers, that's when it becomes an issue, because you realize they can score when they need to as well.
Bellamy throws one into the blocker of Stevie Lyle. There's 2 players in Stevie Lyle's net, Lakovic and Smith. Lakovic does hard work coming back. Smith clears. Lakovic again. Still Lakovic. Great speed. Lakovic backhand. Right into the body of Lyle. He's got deceptive speed, Lakovic, hasn't he?
He's very smooth and he's quick and he's able to just... Here's another chance, though.
Oh, and he fans on it just at the right moment. Then the shot comes in, this time from Nikolov. Now Sam Smith. He's got to battle harder, Sam Smith. And the Nottingham Panthers. It's that M word again, folks. Momentum. What a play, Lakovic out in front. Bellamy just couldn't convert. Down the other way comes Mccray. Mccray gets taken out by Nikolov. Smith, will he win his battle? No, he'll lose his battle with Stevie Lee. And Stevie Lee to Ryan. Ryan makes a quick pass to Lakovic. Everything going through young Lakovic right now.
It certainly is, and that confidence. Here's a 2-on-1 though for the Devils.
It could be 3-on-1, because here's Breyer. Breyer shoots, denied by Kowalski. It's end-to-end. Your head has to be on a swivel at the NIC. Just over 16 to go in the middle session. Kowalski with the stop. Lee moves the puck around the boards. Nikolov goes rink wide. Can Billy Ryan catch it? No, he can't. Ryan turnover. Pelly's free in the middle. Shot from Breyer. Where's the rebound going? High stick right in Pele's face. I think accidental, but Pelly's taken a high one. And are we going to see a penalty called by Murray Hansen?
Kowalski took 2 snaps to try to control this puck as it was high up in the body. The shot off of Breyer comes in, he takes it up off the chest, and then he's got to reload and make sure he's got it settled. Pele, though, gets a little bit of a stick in his face there, and he sells it pretty hard to Murray Hansen. And Murray Hansen isn't buying. He's going to leave it 5-on-5, and probably best that he should as well.
Complete fluke, complete accidents, though that is a penalty on a lot of occasions.
That contact high, obviously anywhere in the body, and there was Kowalski just sort of shielding Pele from getting a second chance at that puck. But you've got to be in control of your stick, but it was incidental, and Murray Hansen in this important game just lets it play.
Yeah, unless it's a real proper penalty that takes away a scoring opportunity tonight. We've got a bit of a hook and a hold there, not called by Murray as well. Here comes David Clark. Clark's got Smith, and then he loses the puck. Is there something up with this ice? Because in both games yesterday, the puck control wasn't at its best. Is it because the building's so hot?
I think so many bodies get in here, and it is that time of year where obviously it's getting warmer outside, and then you've got all this heat inside the building. It's going to react, and as this game goes on, the ice gets more and more difficult to handle the puck.
Phil Hill gets it to Finity. He's looking for his second, drills one into Kowalski. Kowalski makes the double save.
Look at Finnerty with a big goal, but we had David Clark a moment ago who scored 46 goals for the Nottingham Panthers this year, the leading goal scorer, and it was really the first time I noticed him here in his last shift here as we come forward. But this is the play again to Finnerty, who steps in, and Finnerty's just trying to drag Kowalski a little bit more to that right-hand side of the net so he can go across and go up on that left-hand side and beat him, but Kowalski is firm and square to the shooter and controls the rebound.
When a player is in that position, that split moment, does he have time to think that, or is it instinct?
He's got to have a look at the net, and often these players, they shoot the puck so many times in training and obviously in games as well. You know when you're set and balanced and ready and where you want to go with it. You have a look first, but often you just shoot it as hard as you can and go to an area that you think might be available.
This is a line that can destroy you, this Finity line with Phil Hill and Brad Voth, and they're taking the game to the Nottingham Panthers here in this afternoon final. The 8th Elite League final. Hill again drives one. Finity behind the goal of Kowalski. He'll try and come out. It falls over Kowalski. Kowalski throws the blocker into the head of Ryan Finity.
There's a very real subplot developing here right now, and it's Kowalski and Ryan Finnerty. Kowalski a moment ago has a little bit of a shot with John Pele, who has scored 2 today. Kowalski taking exception to Ryan Finnerty driving the net and actually having have his helmet knocked right off his head. As you watch Finnerty, who was able to hold, and he's one of the best, if not the best, at controlling the puck down low. He's up against Cory Nilsson, and Kowalski feels his wrath as he goes hard to the net. No penalties called, but Kowalski a little bit distracted potentially.
6 of one, half a dozen of the other?
Well, I think it's, Finnerty knows what he's doing in those situations. He does enough to push the boundary, but not enough to be penalized.
Chance here for Mccray, is it Michelle? And Mccray on the far side. Michelle just couldn't find him at the first time of asking. Just over 5 gone, middle period. A 1-1 second session, add it to a 2-1 first, and it means the Cardiff Devils lead the Nottingham Panthers by 3-2. Tyler Michelle cuts through the middle. Big whack from Danny Myers, who commits and gets the puck to Bellamy. Now to Ryan. It was a fan shot from Ryan, from Bellamy, who was looking for Galbraith on the other side. Didn't come to him. Icing called. Stevie Lee touches the puck. We come all the way back. Can't catch your breath. What it must be like for them down there.
Well, it is a great game, and it's played high tempo. Both these teams are highly skilled, and you talk really, Nottingham Panthers are known as a highly skilled team who are able to bring the offense, and maybe sometimes defensively not as strong as they'd like to be. But that unit there up against the Devils, they are both evenly matched. They both have high scoring power, and we're seeing that in the 5 goals so far.
Just below us, Jay Galbraith shoots it down to Myers. Man at the back door was David Clark. Such a quick pass from Matthew Myers. Back comes the Cardiff Devils. Nilsson cuts across Mccray. He's got his stick underneath him. No penalty called. Breyer goes to work on Galbraith and then on Nilsson, and Kowalski again has to be sharp as he goes down and covers up with that glove.
Maury Hansen, the referee today, is allowing some of that incidental control, or players trying to control each other in those one-on-one battles. He's letting it go, and I think at other points in the season you might see a few more penalties being called. But you watch the play here, Galbraith going down low, and it's Matt Myers trying to catch David Clark back door. In this important game, the referee is going to want to see the players decide it themselves.
Isn't that the best way?
Of course, it's what we want to see, and all these fans want to see that as well. These are 2 top-notch teams.
Kachuk moves the puck forward, but couldn't get it deep enough. Panthers will have a second bite with Nilsson. Goes out to the right-hand side, and that was a tight offside call. There is Cory Nilsson. So much rumour, so much speculation about Nilsson's future, but surely, if the Panthers are successful here, winning 2 out of the 3, he has to be retained, doesn't he?
Tell me at the top of the show, and you think that maybe Cory Nilsson has to win this game today in order to potentially retain his job here in Nottingham. Such is the expectation in Nottingham. It was a very successful club here that hasn't won that big prize, well, in over half a century. And the pressure now is to win that big one. It's gone. Here is the final competition. He needs to try and win this one.
Good work again from Kachuk. He's coming more and more into this game, and he joins the play now, just misses out. Nikolov will chip in deep. And the Nottingham Panthers are hanging in, and you know they have the quality to hit. The Cardiff Devils twice have led by 2. Twice the Panthers have come back. They now just lead by 1. And here comes Nottingham in the white uniforms with Nikolov. And that could be an icing call. It was an icing call. The Panthers forward just let it go past him.
Nikolov with a nice move, skating up and taking the available space, but he doesn't able to connect the pass, and it goes for icing as we look at Lakowicz. And Lakowicz, who I coached when he was with the under-12s here during my time in Nottingham, is really turning into a superstar, and he's had a huge weekend, and he's an outside chance and could very well be going off to Kiev himself here in a week's time.
Well, again, when we were having breakfast with Cory Nilsson this morning, he said to me, I can't tell you how much he should go, Lakowicz. Skates so well, deceptive speed, very smart hockey player, understands the game very well for his years.
For his years, and a great defensive player at a young age as well.
Well, a shot just kicked away by Kowalski. And that's part of it. A lot of these kids now can skate, but it's learning the game, knowing the game, isn't it?
The game is played 95% without the puck, and Lakowicz, he is often a first-string penalty killer. He knows how to play the game, knows how to fill space, and knows how to support his teammates.
Look at the speed. Voth's coming on the right-hand side, but Finity couldn't find him. Hill finishes. Here's Lakowicz again, just tries to take it out of the air. Lakowicz more and more involved. You talk about momentum of that goal. Can just change a kid's career, can't it? Give a kid a boost that, hey, I can play at the highest level.
an opportunity for him to go away with a senior GB team. He's been through all the divisions and all the supporting GB teams leading up to the top senior men's squad, but that would be a real tremendous accomplishment and achievement here in this early part of his professional career.
David Clark, a man who will go to Kiev, over the blue line, snaps one, 4, 5, 6 feet wide. Myers, another man making the trip to Kiev. He rims the puck, but nobody following up. Michel just chips off the boards around Lepine. Lepine gets it back. Galbraith is offside. Still delayed offside. Now he comes back. Galbraith takes it in his skates. Makes an inch-perfect pass to David Clark. Glorious, glorious, glorious Jack Galbraith.
Remember that save on David Clark, Stevie Lyle. That is a point-blank redirection late here, but now this game starts to open up. But Stevie Lyle can make game-saving saves, and that may just have been one there. Icing
called there. Jake Galbraith, you don't notice him for, let's have a look at the clock here, 28.5 minutes, and then that is pitch-perfect pass.
This is Galbraith, who led the league in assists this year, and look at that play to David Clark, and it doesn't give Clark an opportunity to really get the great shot off, but it doesn't need to be. It's great service, it's a redirection late, and Stevie Lyle holds this line and is able to keep the puck out.
And make himself as big as possible.
Spread across that goal, and you know the deflection's coming off of Clark. He hasn't got time to go from the backhand to the forehand. You know it's going to be quick, but Stevie Lyle has great cat-like reflexes, and he's a tremendous athlete there in the Cardiff Devils goal, and he responds with that quickness and speed again.
Cardiff just keep it. No, they don't keep it in at all. Stephen Lyle, of course, has made himself unavailable for that GB trip to Kiev, and wow, he's in the form of his life right now.
He certainly is. You look at Stevie's stats this year, he had about 90%, and he didn't have the best stats overall, but you look at his wins, over 40 wins this year. They had the 22-game winning streak, which Stevie Lyle played all of those games. That's a new Elite League record. He has had a tremendous season, but sometimes we look and monitor stats and think that is, in fact, an indication of performance. Right now, he's performing when his team needs him most.
Well, he's conceded a fluky goal for the Nottingham Panthers. They threw it at the net, it bounced and it bobbled, and it somehow got through, and I think it was Jeff Harima who has put the Nottingham Panthers back in this one. We're tied at 3. Finities was sexy, this was scruffy, but they all count.
They certainly do, and watch this play, it bounces, it's airmail, and it ends up just getting over the line here. Stevie Lyle holds in his goal, and what do? They don't teach you how to make saves on this particular play. It's a lofted, long-distance flip of the puck, and Harima gets on the end of it, I think, here, and he makes a tremendous play just to get enough momentum to push it over the line, and he gets reward for being in the right place at the right time, and we're level at 3.
Well, you just have got to credit the Nottingham Panthers. Guts, determination, whatever you'd like to call it. We've got a bit of afters now with Nikolov and Finity. They just don't know when they're beat. 3 times in the last 2 days, they've been 2 goals back, and they've come back again.
They've been tremendous opportunists is what they've been, and they are a team that maybe fell off the pace in the Elite League title this year, away from Belfast, Sheffield, and Cardiff. But they have won the Challenge Cup competition already, and there we look at Harima. Harima is going to get credit. Rick Strack and congratulating him. That was just good opportunity and taking a chance when it was available. They made it happen. It was an unbelievable play, a very awkward one, and one that we probably won't see again. But I have seen those long-distance plays before, and Stevie Lyle backed in on his goal line, gives him too much room in front.
22nd of the year, 3rd playoff goal of the season for Jeff Harima. And in fact, Bellamy almost put the Panthers ahead. Here come the Devils again. 3-3. We're at half-time, if you're football fans. 10 minutes gone in the middle period. Here they come, 2-on-2. Bellamy again. Intensity, what a move, Bellamy! Just goes wide on the stick side of Stevie Lyle. Folks, what have we done to deserve another crackerjack of a playoff final last year? This year is Finity. Rebound, Finity misses. Goal, no, Smith. Second bite of the cherry shoots. The goal's off its moorings. And I think we'll see a penalty called there. Yes, we are. A penalty called on the Nottingham Panthers. But what a chance for Ryan Finnerty.
He had a fantastic chance to score a second goal. Sam Smith with a wraparound, but that was the most unbelievable turn of events in front of the goal. Watch this play as Sam Smith forces through. Finity picks up the scraps, is looking to sit down and eat at the table and put it behind him. Then there's a chance for Bob. We're at Sam Smith, and he turns around again, and there are bodies everywhere. It's like a battle on the beaches. And then finally, the net coming down for the Nottingham Panthers.
I think it was Corey Nilsson who just pulled it down, didn't he?
Well, he had to. He had to shut up shop there because the Panthers were leaking badly, and now they've given up a power play chance, and the Devils desperately need to respond after the way they conceded that last goal to Harima.
Well, there's the pull down by Corey Nilsson. He decided it was better to take a penalty and kill it.
Probably not a bad play in that situation. No. The Devils had so many chances going there, and the Panthers had a lot of confidence in their penalty kill.
There are things such as good penalties, and that was perhaps one.
Certainly, when you know that you're potentially about to concede that goal, you'll take a chance to try to kill 2 minutes 5-on-4.
Pele comes right-hand side, red line, chips in, Breyer goes to find it. Kowalski gets there first, but he hands it to Weller. In last year's playoff final, didn't see a huge amount of Jeff Swez after he had dominated the year. Weller has dominated the year, and we're looking for him, and we're saying, come on, Jeff, come on, here's the invitation. Hasn't come in. Now, Harima, on the other hand, the big NHL star for the Panthers, has come to the party, gone to the bar, and bought the first round of drinks.
Well, he certainly has, and that goal, yes, was a little bit of good fortune for the Nottingham Panthers, but as we said, it doesn't matter. And often those goals are even more encouraging because you know then that the Devils are vulnerable and they lose a little bit of confidence when he concedes goals in the manner that they just did the third one. And now here on the power play, Craig Weller, who started the second period with a good rush off the face-off, we still want to see him potentially be the difference in this game, and we haven't seen it yet.
You're the big NHL man. How many sexy goals wins Game 7 of a Stanley Cup? Or does a scruffy, mucky goal where a guy goes to the net, breaks his nose trying to get through? And that's why I just think at the moment the Panthers, with people like Bellamy and Harima and Matthew Myers, maybe just have that little edge. Penalty coming in, will they? No. Clark's high stick on Mccray, not called. We still stay on that power play for the Cardiff Devils. Here's David Clark, takes a shot just wide, stick side of Stevie Lyle's goal. Boff moves the puck forward, offside, waved off, now called offside.
Fair comment you make, though, Dave, about those scrappy goals. They are often the difference in winning championships. And the Devils, who have had the good fortune of a little bit of luck, but the grinding out goal here from Harima, as you watch Stuart Mccray, and there's contact with David Clark, and it should be a penalty, but it's high up in his face area, and that would normally be one, but he was screened to be able to see that directly, Maury Hansen, and David Clark gets away with one.
Tyler Michelle goes rink wide. What a crackerjack of a playoff final we have as Beauregard comes in hard. Beauregard and Harima, again, doing a great job. Rick Strachan said to me a few weeks ago, when I first saw Harima, I thought, good player, but when you see him day in, day out, game in, game out, he's something a little bit special. And he said, against Breyer in that quarterfinal series, he just saw a man turn the switch up, just go to another level.
First-round draft picks in the National Hockey League, and you aren't that by fluke. And there are a lot of great hockey people around the world that make those selections. And Harima here, who maybe hasn't had the opportunity for the full season to show really what he was all about, is showcasing himself here this weekend, and with that big goal that levels this game, because you felt very much that Cardiff were in control. They scored first, they had two, and much like yesterday when the Sheffield Steelers scored two, these Panthers, as you mentioned, don't know when they're beat, and they continue to find a way here to get through this Devils defense and keep this game tight.
The Panthers clear. The penalty is over. Corey Nilsson rejoins the action. Goes straight over to his bench. Stevie Lee's going to be in a foot race with Finity. Nikolov comes across and doesn't touch a big hit. Big penalty coming in as well. Was that Brad Voth? I think it was. Or was it Hill? No, it's Voth, who has absolutely destroyed Nikolov. And Nikolov, to his credit, has got up. How he's got up, I don't know.
Brad Voth is 6'5", 250 pounds. And when he comes in with the speed that he comes in, as you watch Finnerty trying to unlock, Nikolov get the puck, and Voth just lowers the boom. And Nikolov, who's in an awkward position there, when he's bracing himself for this hit, he doesn't know what's coming. And then hello and good night, all in one breath. And Voth will sit down now for 2 minutes, and it's these types of penalties that you often pay the greatest penalty on. And the Panthers right now, if they score here, it's a little bit of justice for probably a play by Brad Voth that he'd like to have pulled back and put in his pocket.
I can't believe Nikolov got up.
He crumpled him like an accordion, and Nikolov there, I mean, that was a sledgehammer blow from Brad Voth, and when he comes in without the speed is enough to handle, let alone not knowing it's coming. And he just lowered the boom on Nikolov and put the opportunity to suck it up, and now the team has a chance in the power play. Well,
Nikolov has certainly earned his team a power play here. Interference penalty on Brad Voth. And the Panthers go on the power play. Galbraith, Clark just down in front. Michel's got him covered. Nilsson's free on the top of the blue line. They throw one in the direction and they throw it over the glass. And the whistle blows. You talk about toughness. We've talked about toughness loads of times, haven't we? But toughness is taking that hit, isn't it, off Brad Voth?
There is, exactly it is. And you know, toughness is mental toughness, Dave. Being disciplined and doing the right things at the right time to help your team either establish momentum or be able to give them the opportunity to try and get the lead in this hockey game for the first time. And here Nottingham, with 7 minutes to go in a second, have that first crack to take the lead.
Minute and a half left on the power play. David Beauregard, what a time for the Panthers to lead. If they could score here, Clark's out in front. Clark can't get there. Pele, just great speed, 1-2 strides, and just nips in front of David Clark. And Pele might, and look at Matska's work ethic, but Pele's not only going to score you 56, look at him on the penalty kill, and look at Matska as well.
The Devils right now need a few players to step forward, and especially defensively in this situation.
Here's Tkachuk, here's Galbraith, back to Tkachuk, back to Galbraith. Great defensive play by the Cardiff Devils. That was outstanding on that 2-on-1, and I think it was Mark Smith again.
He, as we mentioned there, we talk about his save percentage. Here's Pele, though, unlocking the door potentially for the Devils offense.
And here's Finity. Smith thought about just skating forward and joining the play, then thought better of it. 3-3 with just over 6 to go in the second period. What a play by Breyer. Here's another great chance for Finity, once, twice. Kowalski makes 1 save, 2 saves, 3 saves, the third one off Max Breyer.
Mentioned about Mark Smith making a sliding save in the Devils' defensive zone. It's Kowalski here who stacks the pads. A turnover here. Breyer makes a play down low from top to bottom. Finnerty just tries to go forehand, backhand, and get it up over Kowalski. But Kowalski makes himself big and wraps himself around that puck there, almost in the fetal position, makes sure that it can't get up and over his body, and he controls a penalty or a penalty kill opportunity here, a short-handed opportunity for the Devils, which would have really changed momentum.
Well, Finity tried to make out there a little bit that the high stick of Cory Nilsson, but caught him. Murray Hansen wasn't having any of that. Face-off win, actually for the Devils, but they give up possession with Lapine. Bellamy, back to Ryan. And Danny Myers. Panthers right-hand side with Bellamy. They gain possession of the offensive zone, but then give it away easily. Bellamy's dump wasn't a smart one.
Bellamy, the difference, I think, in many ways yesterday for the Nottingham Panthers. We haven't seen as much from him today as was expected or needed from him yesterday to sort of kickstart his team, but he's one of those dangerous players, and Devils will be breathing a sigh of relief, killing that one as Voth's back on the ice.
Yeah, he is. The mayor's back on the ice for the Cardiff Devils, and he runs straight into Guy Lapine, who gave up a soft pass. Jared Adams, hard off the boards. Nothing soft about Jared Adams. Danny Myers moves the puck forward. Galbraith with a tip. Left-hand side, David Clark takes a shot. Where's the rebound falling? It fell to Voth, who gives it to Matska. Pelly on the right-hand side. But they don't get the puck in deep again. So the Panthers then have the opportunity to come left-hand side. End to end. And what a treat for a sellout crowd. The Elite League as well confirming before the start of this game that the Elite League final will be here at the NIC for the next 5 years. It's a perfect venue for this fantastic event. Here's Beauregard, cuts to the middle, backhand. Harima gets taken down once, twice by Jared Adams. A sneaky little play by Adams there, chopped to the back of the legs. Had a quick look where the referee was. Here's Breyer. Hit comes in, tripping minor against Levers. A little bit of afters from Jared Adams. The Cardiff Devils don't like that low hit on their forward.
Levers, who stands his ground, tries to prevent Breyer from getting too much momentum and speed coming out of his own zone. We'll watch this player, Breyer, who can really move and can make things happen on open ice, just gets his feet taken right out there. You see him go airborne. And Levers, who just leaves that trail leg, is going to get penalized here for this play. It's really, actually, in fairness, it's almost a legal hit, but because he gets too low and the big theatrical sort of diving through the air from Breyer, who didn't accelerate the hit, he just really losing his momentum, losing his balance. Levers will sit down, and he's a big defensive player here for the Panthers. And now with 4:21 to go, do the Devils get that chance to regain the lead?
So many times, Cory Nilsson and the Panthers turn to Mark Levers, an unsung hero of their team, for face-off wins. He wins so many draws, doesn't he?
He's a massive part of this team, and he holds it hard through the middle here. He holds his wingers together, he holds his team together and gives them shape, and is often doing a lot of the grunt work and difficult stuff that some of the other players don't always commit to, but Mark Levers does.
You sometimes forget him, don't you? You think Panthers, yeah, David Clark, Matthew Myers, Danny Myers, yeah, great. Oh, crikey, yeah, Levers. And he's such an important player for them.
He scores big goals as well, and you're right, maybe because he isn't as flashy as the other players, but boy, is he purposeful and effective for Cory Nilsson's men.
And you know what? Cory goes to him, and that shows that the people who are around him day in, day out, they know how vital he is to them. Big battle now with still that penalty. Bangs on off the boards to Finity, just chips it through. Phil Hill can't quite get there, and Myers clears. All fortuitously finds Kachuk, and it could be an overlap with Lakovic, but Kachuk's pass was a poor one to Lakovic after Danny Myers had done well. Just over 3 minutes. One remain on the power play. Can the Cardiff Devils get some intensity going? Here comes Nottingham. Big blow from Nilsson. Rebound falls, and it just didn't fall quite right for Myers. Pele, Weller's free. Here is Weller. Oh, he misses his. Was that his moment? Was that the big moment for Craig Weller? Man out in front is Matska. Richardson. Power play time. Breyer goes out to Matska. Back out to Richardson. Gets one on target. Kowalski doesn't know where it is. Brent.
Great shot there, and the Devils here really pushing forward. Weller gets that great pass to Pele and opens up space. Here's Pele again shooting. And Kowalski there takes it and finally settles it down for the Devils. Getting some momentum here late in this second period as a result of this power play opportunity. And there's the man sitting on 2 goals who would love nothing more than to be a hat-trick hero today.
Chance at the other end, and Lyle again making an important save, and then transition so quick.
Great pass though from Weller to give it to Pele at the blue line, so he gives him a chance to get the return pass in time, but he's unable to really get that strong purchase on the puck and redirect it past Kowalski, who was down.
There won't be panic on the Cardiff Devils bench, will there? 3-1, 3-2, 3-3. They're an experienced enough bunch of lads.
I think they'll take this, and you know, it's a 20-minute hockey game in the big showcase, and they're all healthy. Both teams are. You'd take this position, wouldn't you? And obviously they've had the lead, they've let that up, but you can't think about that.
Maybe they can get the lead back. Here's a chance out in front. Kenton Smith, Phil Hill, Finity and Hill just involved in everything.
A little bit of face washing going on there as Brad Vaught comes in and finally gives the face shampoo to Rob Bellamy. But there's a lot of that, and it's just gamesmanship, and it's also a little bit of intimidation, but you got to be careful not to push it over the line here as Maury Hansen's watching. And this is Finnerty, what he does best. He protects that puck, he comes in, he makes traffic, he makes congestion, and then he gives an extra shot, he gets one back, and then coming in is Rob Bellamy, and everybody trading off there quick. Little bit of sort of interference on each other.
This is the line that leads the Devils, though, isn't it? This is the intensity line that generates the emotion and generates just the heartbeat of what Cardiff are about.
Well, they certainly do, and they're a team that, well, they are a line that is able to create opportunities sometimes when there wasn't a whole lot of space. They make that space for themselves. Boss got the size, Finity protects the puck so well, and you can kind of create something out of nothing, and that's often what you need in these games to be the difference.
5-on-5 now. Levers is back into the action, and we've got just over 2 minutes remaining. And this line looks like it's out there all the time. Finity tries to find Hill. It almost looks like they're double shifting. I'm sure they're not. Voth, oh, we had a chance to find Smith, but instead shoots and scores. And the Mayor of Cardiff puts the Devils back in front, 4-3. Michael motorcycle. He empts one way, he empts the other. And surely when the pass was on for Voth, we all thought they'd missed their opportunity, but big bad Brad Voth shoots and scores.
Something out of nothing exactly here as Phil Hill gets a pass from Finity. Brad Voth is bouncing around, and then Christmas comes early as he just turns and fires up over the glove of Kowalski. And watch this shot here as the water bottle goes exploding off the top of the goal. And Brad Voth bouncing back after maybe taking a ill-advised penalty here against Nikolaev. Right now puts his team back in front here late in the second, and it's a massive goal from the big man from South Wales.
There are players that draw themselves to the big moments. There are in all sports. And Brad Voth's one of them.
And Brad Voth, often in this weekend, in fairness, for the Cardiff Devils, has maybe not been able to be the difference. But as he finally arrived here on the big stage and been the difference on the scoreboard where it matters to help the Devils finally win a playoff championship, well, we're now 22 minutes away from seeing if that goal was.
But the Nottingham Panthers, folks, they don't know how to give up. They've been behind most of this playoff weekend, and they're still in it. And Cory Nilsson's leading the way, but here's Michel. Michel takes a shot. Kowalski makes the save as Mccray drove the net.
The advantage for the Nottingham Panthers is having this game be played in their home building here in front of a crowd that would love nothing more than the sweet taste of revenge and coming back in this game where they've been trailing from the majority. As you watch Tyler Michel, who's been a great energy player and continues to be what Rob Bellamy is for the Nottingham Panthers. But you know when you are the Nottingham Panthers that the next goal you score, you've got a huge contingent of this crowd that's about ready to explode in your support.
They say ice hockey's a minority sport. You wouldn't know it in this building right now. You can't find a seat for love nor money. Sold out to the NIC. What an occasion. Puck chipped in. Breyer goes to get there first. Clark tries to chip out. Panthers still have puck possession, or they still have possession in the Cardiff zone, but Cardiff get it back, and now Cardiff will come with Breyer. Breyer patiently waits, finds John Pelly. Pelly aims one, drop puck. Matska has it. Final minute, second period. Matska gets, there's all kinds of melees going on. Now an interception. Now Galbraith might be able to come 2-on-1. Still with Jake Galbraith. Hasn't got an option but to shoot the puck. And Lyle just covers up. End to end.
Great moving screen down in the offensive zone, but there's Matska who leaves it on. The Panthers break it up and head the other way. And watch Myers battling with Richardson, but he gives a chance, Myers does, for Galbraith to collect this puck. And he takes a pretty weak angled shot there, but Stevie Lyle needs to know high in the body he's got it secure as Matt Myers returning into the front of the goal looking for that juicy rebound.
Strax looks on. I think we've got him wired up. I'm sure we'll hear from him later. Less than a minute to go. Is there one more scoring opportunity for the Panthers? A 2-2 middle period. Finity for 3-1, Matthew Myers for 3-2, Harima for 3-3, and then Brad Voth for 4-3. Smith goes across, goes east to west, gets it back from Voth. Lakovic has played as well as anybody in this playoff final. Still Lakovic moves beyond his years to Ryan. Shot comes in. Again, Smith blocks the shot.
And great work, though, and credit to Brad Voth, who comes back in good defensive support and clears that puck late in this period. Brad Voth, give a lot of credit to be able to respond and do those little dirty jobs. We needed that from him, have seen that from him for the Cardiff Devils, in order for the Cardiff Devils to be successful, and now he's doing it.
A little bit of afters there with Lepine and firstly Matska, and then Voth came in across as well. 2.4 seconds on the clock here at the NIC. Fabulous scoreboard, flashes all the highlights. There's Voth. Seek and destroy, Brad Voth. Whistle blows. A 2-1 first period, a 2-2 second period. We talked about momentum in the first session. Have Cardiff got it back again?
I think they have, and that goal was a big one because both these guys have been slugging it out with each other, and they know how important as we move through this game that next goal is, and that goal by Brad Voth was huge.
Rick, what's your thoughts on the style of game? Is it a bit open for you?
It's a one-off final, and you know the boys are giving everything they got. Of course, both teams are making a ton of mistakes, but you know it's better than watching a 0-0 game. Now the guys are giving everything they got. They're playing hard, and you know, we got one more period.
Do you think Kowalski is seeing too much traffic, though? Is that one of the problems?
I think right now it's just we're pressing a little bit. You know, their second wave is killing us. Their D are jumping into play, and our forwards got to do a lot better job of getting back, finding those guys.
But you've already shown the character to come back twice. You think you've got it in you again?
Well, we definitely got it in us again. You know, one period to win a championship, that's all you can ask for.
Okay, thanks, Rick.
Thank you.
Well, Paul, it's been quite a loose game so far. Not the norm for a playoff game like this.
It has, and it's been a lot of odd man rushes. I mean, if Nottingham want to win this game tonight, Anna, they've got to cut down, they've got to tighten up in the neutral zone, and we've got some great examples here. There's a broken play in the neutral zone, a little bobble over his stick, but it's a 3-on-1, and it's a great scoring chance. And this guy normally hits the net from this position, and I think here's another view of it here. Everybody's taking off, going north, and they're giving a 3-on-1 back the other way. And, you know, the Panthers have to tighten up. There's been too many odd man rushes. I know Cory will be saying it. This is just off a wrap, and you can see Hill. Lepine doesn't rub his guy down. We paused it right there because this causes the odd man rush. Hill gets by him. If we roll this a little bit further here, keep that going, guys. Hill comes, Finity, great backhand pass off of one leg. That's just a great shot, But again, you know, he's been out-battled down the wall, and that gives that spare guy that shooting opportunity. And, you know, Finity takes his goal really well. And again, Danny Myers uncharacteristically steps up there, doesn't normally, and it creates a 2-on-1 that doesn't get executed that time. But this is what they got to do, Anna. Listen, if we just stop that and roll that back a little bit, if we can roll that back just a little bit again, here we go. This is what they got to do. They got to get guys going to the net. They got to get the puck to this guy, Galbraith. And this young man here, talented player. They've got to start getting pucks to the net and driving.
So how are Nottingham, how are they going to get back in the game and bring the score back?
Oh, they have plenty of talent, absolutely plenty of talent. They've got to stop giving up the offensive opportunities. They've got to get their key guys on the puck, like Galbraith, make things happen, give Clark scoring chances, give the rest of their guys, the rest of their top forwards, get Bellamy to get in on the forecheck. He changed the whole game yesterday. And we need, you know, he needs pucks going in deep. He needs to make big hits and cause some turnovers that create a cycle which are going to get goals.
Well, the Nottingham Panthers with Levers and Beauregard and the guy who has just come to play in the playoffs, Jeff Arima. What a playoff he has had. And is there one more left for Arima? Is there one more left for the Nottingham Panthers? Levers to David Beauregard. Offside. A little bit more pushing and shoving, and there you go. There's the Vother again, who charges into David Beauregard.
It's a huge man, and we talk about Vaught there, and he's fortunate, as Maury Hansen is right on the play, not to assess him with a penalty. There wouldn't have been one there, and we talk about Maury Hansen. He has let the players play today, and that's what you want to see in a showcase final. People want to see things pushed to that outer limit, see the players, what they can handle, what threshold, at what point do they break, and right now, that little break has been created by that size and strength of Brad Vaught.
So Arima goes off, taking his place on the right wing, Bellamy. And the man who, as Paul Thompson said, he just set the tone yesterday for the Nottingham Panthers. He's got to do it again in these 20 minutes. Stop and start to this opening session of the third period.
Talk about these offsides here. We've had a couple here within 30 seconds, which is a little bit strange, but the game for the most part has been up and down the rink. It's been a little bit of a track meet, as you might call it, where players have been showing their strength and speed, and Nilsson, who's instrumental from the back end there, makes a play on, unfortunately, Lakowicz goes across the line early, but again, Nilsson, the player coach, with a nice set play.
And here's Nikolov, he jumps in out of nothing. I think the pass was intended there to young Lakowicz, who's on the puck at the moment. Bellamy's just out in front. In fact, Lakowicz is just out in front again. Can Lakowicz get there first? Good defensive play by the Cardiff Devils. And it's that man Mccray with a cross-eyes dump as Cardiff take that as an opportunity to make a line change. Big moments early doors in the third period. First minute down, 19 to go for Gerard Adams and his team. Nilsson hits the red line, chips in. Smith gets there first, hammers round the board. Cardiff can come right down the middle. Finnerty, Matska, who got it out to Breyer, who just absolutely let a howitzer go. And Kowalski comes his 6 foot out, makes a save.
Kowalski does well in this play, outside shot from Breyer again, high up in the body of Kowalski, and he takes it comfortably there and goes down to both knees and settles it for a face-off. But good width from that Cardiff Devils attack, coming and moving it wide to Breyer.
Kowalski performing heroics in goal. Matska with the face-off win. Back to Mark Smith. Mark Smith hammers in into the glove of Kowalski. Offside call. They call it deliberate. It's coming all the way in front of Stevie Lyle.
Well, he shoots it on goal, but the Cardiff Devils player still in the offensive zone. Doesn't get a chance to get out of the zone. And as a result of that intentional shot on goal, the referees deem it that it's going to be penalized. Will penalize the Devils by having a face-off in their own zone now. And Matt Myers, who is one of those game breakers, on a great set draw opportunity now.
This building has been a party atmosphere for the last 2 days, but right now at the start of the third period, everybody's on the edge of the seat. This is business end of the year now, and everybody's a little nervous, aren't they?
They certainly are. This game, as we've seen it ebb and flow, that goal, as we look at Pele, who's responsible for the first 2 goals today for the Cardiff Devils, and they scored the first 2 in this game, but that goal from Brad Voth, I think in many ways settled down the Cardiff Devils fans, but they know, and so do the Nottingham Panthers fans, this game is not done yet. And it has been back and forth all day, and that's what makes everyone so anxious here now as we get to the working end of this game.
A battle at centre between Tkachuk and Finity. Tkachuk on a face-off win there, and Beauregard comes off the bench, and that little face-off play where Beauregard goes to the one door and the other door was open in case Nottingham won possession. Only if our boys in the truck had got a view of that to see that again. Here's a reamer on the right-hand side, but nobody plays that play more than Nottingham. They do it so often.
They have the facility here in the benches, the way they're aligned along that side of the rink, where they're so far apart that you can get that advantage by having a player go to the bench and then have one release at the far end to try to get an offensive rush.
Back come the Cardiff Devils. Voth can't quite get enough of it, and the puck ends up in the skates of Kowalski, who moves it quickly to Nilsson. Nilsson himself gives it to Tkachuk, who can't get it deep. Tkachuk still, I don't think he's at 100% full fitness. But he's playing a big role in this game for the Panthers. Mccray can't control. Oh, and he jumps, bounces over Richardson. And look at that speed from Lakovic. Puts the brakes on. Bellamy in front. Lakovic. Oh, he tried to find Nikolov, who was joining in last man. Chance out in front for Bellamy. Doesn't make contact.
Even more impressive than Lakovic's speed is his ability to stop and control and give the Nottingham Panthers an opportunity to come up and support him. And they make that play across the goal mouth there, and it forces Stevie Lau to have to make another great save.
He's had a good year, Robert Lakovic. Not just a good playoff. He's had a good year. Did him the power of good going to Manchester for a year and just playing, didn't it?
You have to play at a young age. You've got to get that game time at a professional level. To stand around and watch and train's important, but you've got to be in key situations to be relied upon to really develop your career and develop yourself as a professional.
Talking of development, I saw Ben O'Connor this morning, who many people will know, young defenseman, and he had a year in France, and he said they only played 23 games in France, and he felt he needed to play more. Played a lot in those 23 games, and of course the big rumour floating around the NIC this weekend, as Bath has the puck, is that Ben O'Connor will end up in a shirt of the Belfast Giants come this time next year. Bullock comes in from the top from Weller, and Kowalski makes the save. But that's the point we make. Again, these young kids have got to play.
They certainly do, and I spoke to Ben as well as we look at Kowalski making another save. And he's talking about what he learned, and they settle down. They have a first taste in professional hockey, and then they need to really learn what it takes to become a professional. And you look at here, you know, the David Phillips, who goes off to North America after being with the Belfast Giants, and potentially maybe he comes back to play in British hockey next year. Another great British defenseman talent as well. And Ben O'Connor on the outside trying to get back in that GB senior team.
I hear Davy Phillips might have an offer to go to Finland, you know, in the Elite League. Can you believe that?
Well, he's a tremendous talent.
Hell of a thing for British ice hockey when one of your own makes it into that kind of company.
It's like David Longstaff, you know, back as a Sheffield Steeler, leaving the Sheffield Steelers and then going on and play in Djurgården in Sweden. And what an achievement. And for folks not really understanding that, is that European continental hockey and many of those top leagues are seen as potentially a higher standard of hockey than maybe is being played here in Britain. But the British talent is improving all the time and really raising that level.
The fans trying to get it going, just down below where Brent and I sit at the moment. 16 minutes to go in the playoff final. Or like last year, are we going to overtime? Are we going to penalties? The Cardiff Devils won't want that again, will they? Mccray to Sam Smith, and Smith gets manhandled by Beauregard. Hit comes in from Michel on Beauregard. He bounces off it, and the Panthers come left to right. Long stretch pass, Harima will try and get Levers going. Levers in a foot race and gets in front of Mark Richardson. Levers puts the brakes on. Richardson and Levers, and in the good old days, you just pin him in there, but of course you can't do that now. And eventually Cardiff, do they get it out? Do they get it out? Just down, yes, they get it out eventually. Only to the captain of the Panthers, Danny Myers. He's already lifted the Challenge Cup. He so passionately wants to lift the Elite League Championship. Billy Ryan comes at speed, takes a shot and scores! What a finish by Billy Ryan! Lovely pass from Myers, but it was all about the speed of Billy Ryan, and he just came with just marked 4 speed, and Ryan ties it again. The Panthers tie it at 4-4.
A moment of individual brilliance here as Billy Ryan, right through the heart of the ice and right through the heart of his Devils defense, steps right through and challenges Mark Smith, and then is able to deposit high and upvote over Stevie Lyle's glove side, and it is in and out quicker than you can see it, as Billy Ryan just makes it happen. And again, another star from the Nottingham Panthers arrives to level this game now at 4.
In his 4th playoff game for the Nottingham Panthers, Billy Ryan scores his first playoff goal. Not a bad time to score it.
My goodness, it's just an incredible play. He just makes something out of nothing, and here's Bellamy, a breaker as well.
Bellamy looks for the man in the middle. It was Lakovic. And I tell you what, Lakovic is as likely as anybody to add to his talent. And look at him back again. Lakovic was back covering up. Ryan as well. Lee, back to Ryan. Lakovic wants it left side, comes right side instead. And it misses out Bellamy.
This is going to be a race right to the finish. Neither of these teams are giving any quarter. They're not giving any extra respect or regard. They've got to push it. And you know what? I think it's going to be a test, really, of offense even as much as defense. You've got a hold here now, but we just keep coming at each other, both teams, back and forth.
Lyle behind his own goal. Clark kind of ready. Big hit comes in from Voth, this time on Clark. Clark rides it well. To Finity. Richardson wants it. Hill. Finity again. Big hit from... Still, Myers just ball down there. Finity rolling off the hits. Phil Hill back to Finity. Still failed to see. Oh, what a pass by Finity. Shot denied by Kowalski. It's end to end. That was a great opportunity. What vision from Ryan Finity.
It's a great shift as Matt Myers defensively battling with Finnerty. Finnerty able to finally create some space for himself. He serves it across to Kenton Smith coming in from the defensive position, and Smith on his forehand, but Kowalski rides it across and follows the puck and tracks it onto Smith's stick and is able to make the save as he squares to the shooter.
You can hear the chant for Craig Kowalski. He's just a fan favourite here at the NIC, and rightly so. Yet again standing on his head, but here comes Tkachuk. Harima goes to the net. Harima's right out in front. Tkachuk can't find him. The Devils now break. They get a chip. Sam Smith looks to his bench, gets the nod, comes off his bench. Line change for the Devils. Here come the Panthers with Nilsson. Tkachuk gets there first, fires one at an acute angle. Now Matska rounds the boards to Pele. Spare man's Breyer. Breyer one-on-one with Danny Myers. Breyer fakes, takes the shot. Myers gets his stick in the way. Stands up well, got in the shooting lane, Danny Myers.
He's a great defenseman, is Danny Myers. A great British defenseman, too, is Breyer, with a good chance here attacking.
OK, let's go downstairs. Chris Ellis is down by the Nottingham bench. What you got for us, Chris?
Well, real change of atmosphere at the Panthers bench, but Cory Nilsson, the player coach, one of the young lads on the bench, Simon here, came over to Cory Nilsson and put an ice pack on his back. And as I speak, Matthew Myers has just come down the tunnel and he's having a word with the doctor now. He's taking his helmet off. He's certainly a bit of pain. Looking at his left arm now, Matthew Myers has a problem just around his right shoulder, I think. And he's just getting his shoulder examined by the club doctor. So maybe some injury problems in the Panthers camp.
You know what, both coaches told us their teams are at full strength. Bellamy's shot denied, Richardson clears. But you know what, when you come to the second weekend in April, every player's injured. There's not one single player there in full strength. Every player's carrying some knock or bruise. And if they're not, they haven't done the job for the last 54 games, have they?
Exactly, and it is such a battle as an ice hockey season. Twice a week, sometimes 3 and even sometimes 4 games a week at this professional level in the elite league, and these players are worn out. It's hot in here as well, and with this ice getting a little bit more difficult to travel through, it is just a real battle now for both teams to grind through.
It's a grind commentating on it, isn't it?
I'm getting sweaty up here.
Finity out, and he makes a hit and gets contact just in front of Nottingham's bench with Nikolov again. Murray Hansen comes in.
Finnerty is probably the best at protecting that puck. He isn't necessarily breakneck speed, but he's got that savvy and that puck control. And right now, I suspect that it's going to be a little bit of that savvy and experience. Those leaders that are going to have to find a difference now with 12:09 to go, and we're deadlocked at 4.
Still haven't seen that Weller moment, and you can't help thinking one's to come. Mccray out there with Michelle and Smith. Good play there by Weller, keeping the puck in. Lee goes back to get it. Stevie Lee. 11 minutes and 45 seconds. Clark. Nikolov moves it forward, and the linesman just gets in the way there. Galbraith protects the puck well, but he gives it away. Galbraith's had that one moment, hasn't he, when he made that inch-perfect pass to David Clark, but hasn't been a big factor so far.
No, he hasn't, and often Galbraith is a guy in the power play who can make things happen. The power play hasn't proved to be really influential in this game. It's been players making those individual plays that has amounted to the 4 goals that we see for both sides at the moment, but Galbraith is dangerous.
And Arima it was with a moment of brilliance there, and a goal! It's David Beauregard! The Panthers trail by 2 twice, and the Panthers come back. They don't know they're beaten. And Cory Nilsson side through David Beauregard makes it Nottingham Panthers 5, the Cardiff Devils 4.
David Beauregard was the most prolific goal scorer in the Elite League a couple seasons ago, and he shows you why. He only scored 31 this year, I say only, but look at the big one he scores now. Comes out from behind the goal, and quickly Stevie Lau without a stick, unable to be solid on that post. And he loses his stick to his defenseman there, and while he's just trying to regain possession, Beauregard sees a little daylight between his legs, and he's able to exploit it for a massive 5th goal, the first time the Panthers lead in this hockey game.
There is a timeout for the Cardiff Devils as we see that goal again. Timeout Cardiff. David Beauregard's 2nd goal of the game. 34th of the season, 5th of the playoffs. And David Beauregard with 5 playoff goals in 4 playoff games. Those are proper numbers.
My goodness, it's a huge goal to score at the most important of times. And here, with 11:04 to go left in this hockey game, he will have not scored any bigger, certainly this season, David Beauregard. And it was just an opportunist goal, and he made the most of that slippery moment where Stevie Lau just loses his stick, and he just gives a little bit of space off that post.
Was that? We go from Ali G to Rick Strachan. This building has just taken off, and you know what? When Cardiff let the 2-goal lead go twice, you just had a feeling maybe Nottingham, momentum, and then they go ahead. Now can they hold on to it?
Nottingham Panthers, as we mentioned, came back yesterday. When you continue to be able to show that you can come back, you have more confidence. Even when you concede that lead, you know you can battle. And like I said, here at home, in their home rink, it's great motivation to try to level this game and try to win it, and to give that little bit extra to be the difference.
Well, the Sheffield Steelers were 2 up against Nottingham. Nottingham Panthers went 3-2 up against them. Sheffield came back before it went into overtime. Can Finity lead the Devils back? Are the Devils going to come to their 8th playoff finals and for the 8th time go home without the trophy? You can't tell me that's not in their minds right now.
It certainly is, and these players, regardless of being professional or not, they're all humans. They all play this game on a very high emotional level, and you do ebb and flow depending on how the scoreline's reading and depending on your belief in your team. And when you let up a goal there that maybe is, well, not said as a weak goal, but a goal that was unfortunate, and unfortunate at the wrong time. They had those earlier in the game, did the Nottingham Panthers, but they've been mentally tough. Have the Devils, though, here with letting up this goal with now just coming up to 10 minutes left in the 3rd period. Is it a little bit too little, a little bit too late, or is it too late for them to respond?
The Cardiff Devils, they don't know how to give up either. You can't be more impressed with the character of the Nottingham Panthers, though. They just keep coming back. Even in their quarterfinal series against the Brayhead clan, they were down up in Brayhead, and they came back, and they got an important win.
And that shot block there by Stephen Lee is an example of how they're holding together as a team, and they're consolidating as a group of 5, and they're playing good team defense now, and you can see they believe that that 5th goal might just be enough.
And look at Kachuk, what a great play. Was always been called with a slash.
Interesting body language as Matska comes off the bench and immediately goes and resumes in the offensive zone with John Pele. Both those 2 players, 1 and 2, as you watch this penalty here again, it's a slash taking away the stick of Stuart Mccray. And Stuart Mccray, we haven't seen a whole lot yet today from the Cardiff Devils. Maybe here now on this power play, but it's going to be the Matska line with John Pelly and Breyer, Weller and Richardson on the blue line.
That's when replays are so good. I thought that was such a soft call first time, but I didn't realise that the stick had been slashed out of his hand. Good call by Murray Hansen. He only has to see it once, doesn't he?
He does, and you know, he's got to make it it's the fastest team sport in the world is ice hockey, and as a referee it makes it very difficult to evaluate everything as well. And good call by Hansen, but here's Pele.
Here, just hearing from Chris Ellis down by the Nottingham Panthers bench, Brent, as well. David Clark has broken his skate.
And that equipment.
Should we go to Chris? Let's go down to you, Chris. What you got for us?
No sign of David Clark at the moment. He's broken the steel on his skate, so obviously he's down at the back there with Adam Goodrich, who's having to mend that as soon as possible. So he's just sitting around the back. Matthew Myers is back on the bench, but I'm not convinced he'll play any further parts in the game. If he does, he's sucking it up, but he's in real pain. They've been looking at his shoulder. They were for 3 or 4 minutes, the physio and the doctor. He did not look in a good way.
Pele gets the puck back to Richardson. Richardson sinks it down low on this power play. Can the Cardiff Devils get back into this one? I'll tell you one man who will be absolutely gutted that, in fact, Matthew Myers is off the ice and he's seriously hurt with a shoulder injury. That'll be Paul Thompson.
Certainly would. He's got GB Opportunity World Championships next week, and it's not only this huge game where they want to win the championship, but they want to represent their country as well.
Here's Myers. Can't clear. Richardson intercepts. Deflection just out in front. Breaking play, still playoff though. Still power play for the Cardiff Devils. They got 47 seconds left, Brent.
Well, this is their chance, and they know you can't wait too long to push it forward. And they called that timeout after conceding the Beauregard, the 5th goal from Nottingham Panthers. They know after they get this opportunity here with 8:34 to go, this is a great opportunity for the Devils to either establish momentum or to get that equalizing goal.
9-goal thriller at the NIC for the playoff final. Here come Cardiff, right to left, power play, 35 seconds remain. Mccray takes it wide to Nilsson, big slash from Nilsson. That was offside, surely. 2-on-1 down low. Great defensive play by Cory Nilsson. Tip your hat, Cory. Great play by Nilsson, and he came off the bench at mark 4. Almost took Danny Myers out.
It certainly was. He got down. He's big. He's 6'5" himself, as Nilsson. He covered all of it there. Great denying play from him.
I look down below as this shot comes in. Chance out in front. Kowalski makes a save. Finity and Lee in a battle out in front. And Brent, I look down and David Clark comes back onto the ice. Good work, Adam Goodrich. Got that skate repaired quickly.
It's like blowing a tire in Formula 1, and you've got to have a pit crew over there to make this happen and turn your player around quickly. But this is Stuart Mccray, who draws it in and goes high again on Kowalski. It seems to be the shot of choice from the Devils to try to elevate the puck on Kowalski. Not the biggest of goaltenders, but he makes himself big there, and he controls that puck and then able to then control the rebound.
Power play. Here's that Nilsson's great play. We're on to a power play now. He's over. We're back 5-on-5, and Weller joins the play and takes out Danny Myers. Nice little back heel. That was fortuitous there from Breyer, but what a great play from him. He's still on the puck. He'll want it back. He gets it back. Just bounces over his stick. Battle with Levers. Levers loses out in height and weight, but not in heart. And he came as good as he got, and Pele with a great chance out in front.
This line is probably expected for the Devils to be able to be the difference as they continue to put pressure. And Kowalski snatches one there, tries to settle things down. But all the questions being asked right now are being answered by that man, Kowalski. And with 7:06, he's just growing in stature.
Levers gave it as good as he got there, but this was a good opportunity for Pele.
Pele, who's able to slide in those little tight spaces because he's not that big a man, is able just to get in the shadows of that Nottingham Panthers defense, gets a shot off when it's deflected high up over the goal. But again, a face-off in the offensive zone for the Cardiff Devils.
The Nottingham Panthers are 7 minutes and 9 seconds away from a double, a Challenge Cup, and a playoff double. Will Danny Myers lift his 2nd trophy of this season? Finity offside. Hill hits Beauregard.
You can see in the body language a little bit, obviously Finnerty disappointed with that call, trying to get a quick swing out of the zone to go back in the offense. But right now, the Cardiff Devils look a little bit in body language and the way they're holding themselves like a team that is not completely sure they can level this game. And you see the Nottingham Panthers really starting to rise in confidence and belief. As you look at Rick Strachan, that's a much more confident and purposeful Rick Strachan than we have seen earlier in the game.
Directs his troops to Strax. Cory Nilsson was full of praise at breakfast this morning for the work of his assistant. Offside. Finity and Arima. We're gonna get. Cardiff have got to be careful though that they don't take away from the flow with all this stop-start stuff, haven't they?
Right now, because they got thwarted on that power play opportunity and everybody got too many great chances to score, as we look at Neil Francis, the assistant bench coach there for the Cardiff Devils, and both these coaches played an instrumental part in trying to formulate the strategy and tactics of these teams, and especially late in the game, the pressure's on Francis now to try to unlock that Nottingham defense.
A battle on the boards. Nothing asked, nothing given. Mccray wins it, gets his head down. Nikolov gets there first, but no, he doesn't. Mccray gets there first. Mccray wanted it more. Nikolov tries to protect the puck. 2-on-1 down there, and Nikolov comes out with it. Good work by Nikolov. Correction, great work by Nikolov. Levers to David Beauregard. And Beauregard sinks it down behind Lyle's goal.
Shots heavily favoring the Cardiff Devils in this hockey game, but it's the 19 that we see after 2 periods of play against Stevie Lyle as Kowalski takes another one and settles it down. But that doesn't really matter. All that matters is the ones that have gone in. As here the Devils continue to ask questions, but Lakowicz, look at how calm he is for a young player.
Well, the Nottingham Panthers are maybe a bit too calm as Pele comes in. Tries to feed back to Matska. And Nottingham do look kind of in control, like they expect to see this job through, don't they?
They do, and Weather maybe a little bit lucky there for not getting a delay game penalty as he lofts the puck off his stick, and whether or not it inadvertently goes off another stick, the Nottingham Panthers. But there is Weller, who we talk about. We expected maybe a little bit more impact in this game. We haven't seen it. He has been tremendous this season for the Cardiff Devils, winning the Player of the Year. But you're right, the Nottingham Panthers, I think, believe that this scoreline could be enough for them to take the title.
Right now, the Nottingham Panthers NHLer is doing a bit more than the Cardiff Devils NHLer. And Arima is leaving his team. Nikolov comes across. So right now, Lakowicz has just been...
He's been one of the top players on the ice.
Of either side, hasn't he? He's been brilliant.
He certainly has. He's been one of the top 3, and it's a great here with Paul Thompson, the GB coach, watching this game and everyone knowing the pressure on it. You want big moment players, and Lakowicz has been doing it all year, but particularly this weekend.
So as we enter the last 5 minutes, do Nottingham do anything different? Do they do the trap different? Do they set up any different? Do they just basically chip out?
They have to just keep the game simple, don't they? And they don't want to make mistakes. And here's Weller pushing forward.
Weller comes to the party, takes the shot, goes wide. Michel with 5 minutes remaining. 5 minutes of the 2010-11 Elite Ice Hockey League season remaining. Is there another twist? Can the Cardiff Devils send it into overtime? They did last year against the Belfast Giants. Kowalski with the stop. He looks rock solid, Craig Kowalski. Arima, who's looked rock solid through these playoffs. Red line, blue line, still Arima. Takes a shot into the body. Nothing really on for Arima. Takes a shot into the chest, covers up, wins his side of face-off in the offensive zone.
It's a great, simple play, and we talk about not making mistakes, but you'd rather play defense in the offensive zone, wouldn't you? And now the Panthers, with a face-off in the offensive zone, get the opportunity to try to maintain possession, maybe get a shot on, and hem these Devils in their defensive zone.
The clock is counting down. How long is left? 4:27 on the board. Matska. We're looking for something from Matska or Pele, or here it's Richardson, and Levers didn't see him till late. Danny Myers. No messing around surely from Danny Myers, none at all, just glassing out. That's the Strachan way, isn't it?
Well, that's why he's captain, is Danny Myers, and he has been now for a number of years in Nottingham. He's able to get it done, he's called on in all these important situations, and this is one now.
Weller, tried to get out in front, shot comes in from the outside. Kowalski's lost his stick. Nilsson. And was it Nilsson and Finnerty or Nilsson and Weller?
Even Matska there.
It was Nilsson and Matska. And Cory Nilsson's such a big man. He can play that physical game as well. It's not just about the passing and the shooting with him, is it?
No, he's got a lot of size and strength. You saw that in the interview there that you had this morning. He's heavy set and strong. And when he's asked those questions in front of his own goal to be able to deny the offense, he's able to physically put that prowess in too.
Voth dropped the shoulder about 8 foot from Lepine. Lepine gave the puck up. I think he knew what was coming. 3:25 to go. Hit down low. Voth goes to work. Finity comes in for some support. Phil Hill, 3 men. Finity goes behind the goal. There's still a battle there with Kachuk and Voth. Somebody's lost their glove. It's the Nottingham Panthers. Here's Galbraith just off the half-boards and sends it into the defensive zone.
Panthers are not giving any separation to the Devils in the offensive zone themselves, and they're smothering them and putting that blanket on. Here's Michelle trying to make a hit on Nilsson, but Nilsson takes that hit, and here's a chance for Clark.
David Clark versus Stevie Lally. Shoots into crossbar. You gotta be kidding me. Crossbar from Clark as Nilsson makes his way back. Kowalski makes the save. Nilsson has to borrow a teammate's helmet. His helmet's down in front. The Cardiff Devils through the crease. Voth got the tip. Mccray got the tip. Into the final 2.5 minutes. Right-hand side, Pelly goes chasing. Pelly and Nicola. Beauregard comes in. Weller comes in. Big here. Weller penalty. Weller's first meaningful action of this game might be to see out the game on the power play for the Cardiff Devils. Weller's hit on Beauregard has given the Panthers a power play. More importantly, it might have just taken away the Cardiff Devils' last chance to pull this one back.
Beauregard digging for the puck, and he gets dug right out by Weller, who comes high and hits him up in the head area. As we watch this on the reverse side, Pele's trying to get some space from Nikolov, and he's complaining that he's being held restrained, but the ref's not going to call that. But the hit from Weller, who just looks like he's a bull who's seen red.
And I think it's got worse. It's got worse. Matska's been kicked out of the game, I think, Brent. Down below, Matska.
Devils are unraveling right now here before our eyes, and they have controlled this game for the most part until that 5th Beauregard goal from Nottingham. And now Matska, who's got a misconduct, is going to leave a very frustrated man.
Matska goes down the tunnel. He'll turn right into the Cardiff Devils dressing room. So 2-minute penalty against Weller. So we'll see what Murray Hansen calls, whether he calls a probably just a 10-minute.
Incredible turnaround here, and poised and calm by the Nottingham Panthers to hold fire as they just received that physical onslaught from the Cardiff Devils. But that's not what the Devils need now. They needed the power play. Instead, it's the Panthers who have it.
Well, Cory Nilsson said this morning to me, has to stay disciplined. And he's so right, his team have. They've been calm. They haven't panicked. Even at 2 goals down 3 times in the last 2 days, they've come back and have just ground out a victory. Perhaps something that the Nottingham Panthers haven't been able to do in the past. He's grounded out. But by God, in this playoff series, they've grounded out.
They certainly have, and they found a great way to find character here when asked the most strong of questions. Were you tough enough to bounce back from 2-0 leads given the other team? And they've done it in back-to-back days.
Well, they've been tough enough, all right, of the Nottingham Panthers. They knocked the #1 team out, the Sheffield Steelers, in the semi-final. And they're now 90 seconds away from knocking out the #2 team, the Cardiff Devils. 2-on-1. Galbraith can't find Clark. Michelle behind the goal, last chance saloon. Fires a long shot to Kowalski, didn't see till late. Nilsson, another penalty.
Finnerty's going to get it for a slash on Kowalski, and Maury Hansen is going to give it.
Kowalski goes to the bench. Pelly starts applauding the referee. He now touches the puck. And another penalty against the Cardiff Devils. A slashing call on Finity. And it's just falling apart for the Cardiff Devils.
And there it is, and Ryan Finnerty just frustrated, can't get to the puck in time. Kowalski plays it, and Finnerty gives him the chop, and that's why he's gone to the box, and he slams the door, and maybe slammed the door on the Cardiff Devils winning the playoff championship.
59.4 seconds remain, and the wheels have come off the wagon of the Cardiff Devils. And there's about 4,000 fans here from Nottingham who are quite happy to milk that as well.
Nottingham have done what they needed to do, and they look on the cusp of winning the game as you watch people walking out. And the Devils were in a great position, but the Panthers have earned this opportunity and have earned their position now.
A 5-on-3 power play. Big shot comes in. Beauregard behind the goal, looks out for levers. Instead comes to Nilsson. What a season for the Nottingham Panthers. Big hit on Beauregard. and Beauregard bounces off it. It was Michel that got him. Cory Nilsson, 30 seconds away, Cory Nilsson from a double, a Challenge Cup and a playoff double. The Nottingham Panthers, 2 goals down in the semi-final, 2 goals down in the final, not once but twice, and the Panthers have shown the character to become the 2011 playoff champions. That's unless Weller can do something in the next 8 seconds. Kowalski's come miles out of his goal there, and Kowalski got took from Weller. And then offside is called, the Hunter blows, the game is over, the Panthers venture ups, the Nottingham Panthers have won the playoff finals. They go to Kowalski, they should go to their coach Cory Nilsson, they should go to Strachan, and Brett Pope, the Nottingham Panthers deservedly over this weekend have ended up with the big prize.
They do deserve it, and they hung fire. The Cardiff Devils looked like they were in the driver's seat for much of this hockey game, but when it mattered at those crucial junctures, when the Nottingham Panthers had to answer, they did. And they did it here with a David Beauregard winning goal late in his 3rd period. They found a way to control that potent offense from Cardiff, and they go away champions in the playoffs in 2011, and they earned it.
Rick, how does that feel?
Well, it's an unbelievable feeling right now. You know, for the last couple of months, we just said we got to believe in ourselves, and we never doubted our ability, and it came through tonight.
How did you find a way, though? You were behind so many times.
We just believe that we're going to win. You know, teams that are on a roll, they get that belief that it doesn't matter what happens, we'll find a way to do it. You know, big goals, great goaltending, a great team atmosphere.
This is special, though, for everyone, isn't it? For the players, for Rick, for you, for Cory, for Gary. It's so special for the whole club.
Oh yeah, it's great winning. You know, every organization wants to win, and this year we won too.
But what was the key? You know, it was the never say die attitude, but what were the other keys for you?
The keys were goaltending. You know, different guys showing up tonight. You know, everyone contributed. We got miles out of every single guy. That was the key.
And special personally to come in and win 2 trophies in your first year as coach here at one of the biggest clubs in the league.
Yeah, I was just lucky enough to come in at the right time and work with a great bunch of guys.
Well done, Rick.
Thank you.
You see Nottingham, they're looking beat up and worn down, and remember Wayne Gretzky, potentially one of the, well, maybe arguably the best player ever to play this sport, talking about when he first started winning championships, how the opposing team that beat them in the final competition were just a little bit more battered, a little bit more bruised, and a little bit more worn. The Nottingham Panthers look exhausted and depleted, but they won.
Those Cardiff Devils fans, this is their 8th time that they visited this building in the playoffs, and it just hasn't happened for them.
It's a very sad tale, really, because the Cardiff Devils have had a tremendous season, and with the 22 wins, they have been close, and they had regulation points, the same as Sheffield Steelers, but not regulation wins. And now as they go off the ice, they can probably hardly believe how close they came and came away with nothing this season.
Well, the Cardiff Devils players, they can't leave the ice quick enough. You can't when you lose in a final like this, and Brad Buck will lead his team away. The Nottingham Panthers, they'll be here for the next hour, won't they, on the ice?
They certainly will, and you know, they deserve the opportunity here, and they made it happen. And sometimes being at your home rink, you might feel a little bit more pressure to be able to perform. Well, they didn't have that pressure, but they certainly responded, and they certainly did what they needed to do today when they were down in this big heavyweight tilt, and then they find that ultimate goal at the end to be the difference and to give them that opportunity now to celebrate in front of their home fans.
Well, the Nottingham Panthers are going to get their medals. They're going to go over to Mitch Stevenson, and Danny Myers gets his winner's medal, his 2nd playoff championship winner's medal, his 2nd winner's medal of this season. And here go the Nottingham Panthers, a man who takes the job of being a captain so seriously, and he leads that Panthers team so well.
Danny Myers has matured tremendously as a British player. You know, he used to play forward, and then once he came and became a defenseman, he really just came into his own, and he's become a real natural leader here in Nottingham and has helped lead this club now to a number of championships during his time here.
Well, the Panthers get their medals in a few moments' time. Danny Myers will be lifting the playoff championship trophy. The banners have been unveiled. Jake Galbraith goes past. There's Bellamy. Without Bellamy's performance that on Saturday, they wouldn't have been in the final.
I think you're right, and I think he, when they were down 2-0, was a catalyst as we watched Kowalski. Kowalski, you don't win without a goaltender being at the top of his game, and Kowalski, who led up a couple of goals early in both the games this weekend, knew how to stay tough and hold strong.
MVP of the playoffs, Kowalski?
Potentially, and he's been a great goaltender all year, right behind Urban Mustakovs, and right in that position. You don't win unless you've got a goaltender who's hot, and the Devils and the Panthers win 2 championships.
There's Guy Lepine. He signed for the Hull Stingrays in the summer when Hull had their problems. There was a week window, 1 week, 7 days. Lepine signs for the Panthers, ends up winning a double.
He's a great blue liner, is Lepine. He can play the game at both ends of the rink, and he's rock solid tough too, and he was right in the trenches today for the Panthers on defense.
As the winners' medals make their way through the team.
So there is the final Panthers. There's Nicola. He was as shaky as anybody in the first 5 minutes on Saturday, but he was so strong and came back so well through the rest of this playoff final weekend.
Remember, they hit Brad Vaught, lowered on him there in the second period, and he bounced back. He stayed down. It was an important power play. The Devils were unable, well, they killed that one, but then Vaught came back to score, but Nicola, one of those real mentally tough plays to withstand that pressure.
How good, mate, Rick Strachan. And Cory Nilsson, he lifts his second trophy. The speculation will already be starting of his future, but you have to tip your hat. What a job, he's won the double.
Full credit. I mean, to win the double in this tough, tight league, Cory Nilsson has stayed tough and been Brazilian all year, and he's probably going to return now as the Nottingham Panthers head coach, you would expect.
We're running out of time, folks, but there's still time for Danny Myers. He's there now with Eamon Combrey. He's going to lift the championship trophy. Danny Myers is the captain. The Nottingham Panthers are the 2011 Elite League playoff champions. The NIC goes crazy. The Panthers win it again. And Danny Myers lifts the trophy. And he goes to his supporters. He goes to his fans.
So congratulations to the Nottingham Panthers, the 2011 Elite Ice Hockey League playoff champions. And as you'd expect, the celebrations continued well into the night. The 2010-2011 season is one these players will never forget. They've experienced the lows and bounced back in extraordinary fashion to reach the highs. It was a fantastic final to end another tremendous Elite Ice Hockey League playoff weekend.